blockchain, but also to demystify anything around blockchain technology's underlying value, its underlying concept, but also everything around it, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, as well as what's currently happening in the world of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain. Welcome, Christine. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm feeling so excited, and we are so privileged, Africa, and thank you for the opportunity to be the co-host, to moderate to the world, to all the countries and the continents. We embrace South America, we embrace Europe, we embrace whole Africa. And we have a historical moment in time to talk about blockchain and the revolution or evolution of us as human beings. As an ambassador of the world of education, we need education first. And we welcome the audience, and we will see later when we have all our guest speakers what will happen today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Spectators and commentators have suggested that you cannot talk fourth industrial revolution without talking blockchain. Blockchain is synonymous and is indispensable element towards projecting and trajectorying the fourth industrial revolution. Concepts such as metaverse, Web3, NFTs are just but acronyms for many people. They have no meaning to it. In fact, many just see it as a hype. And one of the questions we'll obviously integrate, or what we will explore is whether blockchain is just a tech hype and whether there's really any underlying value in it. But beyond that, we're going to be having very interesting discussions around various interesting topics within the blockchain space, but also looking at some of the elephants in the room, what's happening currently in the markets, FXT, by some now, the regulators and some of the critics would say, we've warned you about cryptocurrencies, we've warned you about blockchain, we've warned you about the volatility surrounded around it, and perhaps they've got a point, but we'll explore that and see whether in fact that is correct and whether there is a case to be made out. At the same time, I'd like to welcome our fellow correspondents who will be joining us quite soon. They are right throughout the world, and you'll get to interact and see them. The program will be quite full. As we said, we've got various topics from tokenization of the real economy, the traditional economy versus the blockchain economy, as well as looking at tokenizations of assets, what's currently happening in our environment, within Namibia, within Africa, globally, but at the same time, I'm also looking at some of the interesting developments within this space. The question will always be, what is blockchain? A lot of people are not familiar with the concept, not the concept, the technology, but at the same time, I think this will give us an opportunity to discuss and debunk that.
And I want to add on maybe to the public, to the audience. So we live today, and we will emphasize it and invite you that you be interactive today. Stay with us till afternoon. We live the decentralized world. We are not talking about, it's not a theoretical theme. It's the main topic or the central topic, the guidelines through the whole day that we live it. Interactive, please ask questions. We have Q&A. Our team behind, or our community, we have to have a new wording about it. We will collect all your questions, and we will answer here live online with all the speakers. So we live the decentralized world.
Thank you so much, Christian. To go right into one of our interesting topics, interesting developments within the world of climate change, but also how blockchain can play a role, if any, within the climate change world. To do that, this morning we'll be engaging with a blockchain enthusiast, an independent thinker, as well as a change agent who is obsessed with blockchain at this point in time. Benedict Libanda, he is currently in Egypt, and we will interact with him in a second and hear from his side how blockchain has, or where the blockchain has a role to play within climate change.
Yes. Let me add on only one sentence, or please, to the audience, take a pen and paper, which is maybe unusual in the world of all the technology of smartphones and iPads and laptops. But make your note, because we are talking about motivation today. We are talking about mindset, which is yours. and technology at the end of the road.
Absolutely, absolutely. If we could just that interact, perhaps, Mr. Ribanda, are you on the line?
Yes, yes, Mr. Africa. Good morning to all. Good morning to all who have joined on this call. Can you hear me?
Maybe Africa, he is quite busy, or maybe the organizer is keeping him busy. We don't know.
Okay, well, while we wait and
Yes.
wait to interact, perhaps we could just have a general discussion. For the ordinary view, for the first time is confronted with what is blockchain? What is, what really is it?
Yes. That's a big thing. That's the elephant in the room. The word by itself means block and chain, but when we have a broader picture from above, we are living in a decentralized world. We have all our technical devices, which I have here, and switch off the sound for the director. So we have all this. Can you imagine when you connect all of us with our technical devices and on our laptops, smartphones, or tablets, there will be a master node. So the central point, and we are all connected through our technical devices with and you have to understand, blockchain has to be used. When you offer with a business here, my business as well, mentoring for small and medium enterprises, which is needed in Namibia. We connect each other and we can, from our device, be part of the blockchain industry. It doesn't matter, it's the health industry or it's the finance industry, and the financial industry takes it at first because we are living in the most important time since the French Revolution. French Revolution was in 1781. Can you imagine what happened there in this time before it was the Constitution of the United States? Now we have this big transformation, revolution, we call it evolution. So blockchain by itself, it connects us as humanity for the use cases we need. And first, we start with the financial industry. So you get a broader picture about it. It's nothing here, an elephant in the hut or here in the studio. It's really the use case of to build up, and I will focus it, the internet, think about in 1995.
Yeah.
The internet started, but the internet was developed in 1920s through the military.
That's right.
And come back to this shift, the money, let's say the energy. I will bring you new words, a new wording, because money means energy. The energy was decided by IBM in 1992 to force or to educate humans, human potential, human source management. But then they decided 1992 to change it into technology. And so we started with our smartphone. Think about it. It's only 27 years ago. Coming back to this big elephant, the blockchain by itself. So the internet brings the information. So would you like, Africa, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Would you send me 500,000 Namibian dollars, which is a value?
That's right.
Through the internet. Would you like to make a picture and I will accept your money, energy, by sending it through the internet? Is that possible?
Well, I think with blockchain,
without blockchain. Coming back, you want to start from the scratch. You see, you would not be able. You need a third party, an intermediary. You need a bank.
That's correct.
With blockchain, you can send it peer to peer. Here, he can send the value. So the blockchain is meant to be to bring the value on the blockchain to send it directly to me. So you will be able to send me crypto assets. I don't call it cryptocurrencies. There are fiat currencies, but not blockchain currencies by itself. So it's more the asset class. So you will be able. So that's the difference. And I think it makes sense. Or does it?
It does make sense. But I think at the same time, Christine, what are the things that we ought to also engage our viewers and those that are watching all over the world, especially those that are not familiar with blockchain and that are quite confused and thinking, is blockchain cryptocurrency, is blockchain crypto digital asset? is blockchain, forex trading. There's a lot of confusion, and I suppose we live in a society which consumes information, and we live in a society that pursues its ignorance. If you don't understand it, you are dismissive of it. If you don't have any appreciation of what its potential would be, you think of it as purely something that is not to be touched, or something that really has no value. And I think very important is have a very basic understanding from not only a lay person, but from a general public perception as to, make a distinction between when we talk blockchain technology, its underlying value. Cryptocurrency, bitcoins are just but a small function of blockchain. In fact, they're so minute.
Yes, they started. You see, when blockchain, so my research, what I like really is figures, data, and facts to analyze things. Blockchain, the word by itself, and the technology was invented in the 80s. So it's only 40 years. So you always need a use case on the blockchain by connecting all master nodes or the process. We are talking about the financial industry, which takes over. It takes it because it's the first thing, because money is the foundation of the society.
That's right. We will be talking about fintech. We will be talking about technology, which is basically finance and technology. We'll also be having discussions, obviously, as to how blockchain would be useful within the fintech space. I think many critics would say that fintech has proven itself over the years.
Maybe,
blockchain is still to okay. Our colleague is currently ready. Perhaps we will resume that interesting conversation, but of course it's important to demystify and engage in a meaningful discussion that will educate the public, but also engage them on it. We are now going to engage with Mr. Libanda, as we said, a blockchain enthusiast, change agent, and an independent thinker. And we're talking whether blockchain has any value, if at all, within the climate change space, and if it has, what value it has. Mr. Libanda.
Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Mr. Africa. I hope you can hear me this time.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Hello, Benedict.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Exceptionally very important topic, which I'm extremely in love with. I really thank you for including me as a speaker on your agenda and program for today. Basically, my background is I will talk about today on how we can create an interface between climate change solutions as well as blockchain supporting platforms. I'm currently dialing in from Egypt, attending the COP27 on climate change. And while we are negotiating on the global solution towards meeting 1.5 degrees target. That is the target that is amicable in terms of maintaining temperatures that are productive at the global scales. While we are discussing those issues, well, it has come to a realization that policies alone and investments alone will not be able to meet the 1.5 degrees targets that we've set ourselves. So we will need technologies to be supported, technologies to be improved, as well as introduced and integrated within the climate change space to reduce greenhouse emission, as well as to meet the 1.5 degrees Celsius. If we go beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius as a globe, it will be catastrophic because there'll be a lot of natural disasters, and these will hit our global economies. So when we analyze blockchain, we see a huge opportunity for the world to integrate carbon emissions in terms of management, in terms of monitoring, and in terms of reporting. So we will see blockchain as a powerful tool that can significantly improve the transparency and accountability of a global carbon emission reduction systems. And most importantly, when we talk about carbon and greenhouse gas emissions, we talk about traceability, because it should be a transparent process. You should be able to pin down where the source of carbon is emitted or where the source of carbon is avoided and traded on the international emission trading schemes. So when we look at blockchain further, we could utilize a lot of functions such as smart contracts to better calculate, track, report, and reduce the carbon emission and footprint along the value chains of the markets. It can also provide instant, authentication and verification of real-time data and clear data records, and that is extremely important to improve the functionality of carbon avoidance within the climate change space. And this will call for technology startups. So we need to find means on crowding in different types of technologies that are based on blockchain to propel this new investment venture. They can develop blockchain-enabled platforms that can bring together all stakeholders, including companies and corporate that trade on those international platforms. And having said that, I wanted to bring the discussion to a national level, since this dialogue is hosted in Namibia. Just to be practical, in Namibia we're developing the green hydrogen industries, and by 2030 we'll be exporting about 350 million tons of hydrogen and green ammonia. Already Namibia is a net zero carbon sink country, which means we absorb more carbon than we emit as a country. So that kind of industry comes with massive green attributes as well as carbon credits. But how do we monetize that so that the country harvests a bigger share of that to support its development, to combat, poverty alleviation, to create jobs for its population? We'll need technologies and systems that are integrated to these green attributes. And moreover, there are emerging opportunities to tokenize credits for offsetting of carbon emission, as well as other commodities that can be derived, throughout the value chains. So we are beginning to see several platforms that have developed and currently being improved to provide tokenization on carbon assets. And if we look at the price per carbon projection by 2050 to 2100, we are looking at between $50 US per carbon to about $500 US per carbon ton. And that tells you that it's an asset class that will continue to grow over time. And, entity and blockchain, entities have taken advantage of this by tokenizing these assets and provide a platform for cryptocurrency exchange. In conclusion, I think to realize the carbon market, especially in a company like Namibia, there's a lot of decisions and processes that should be introduced, and this starts with regulations, regulations on carbon credit, and facilitations. This is where, again, blockchain is being used globally to standardize the process, to create a registry platform that will monitor the carbon emission calculations as well as trade, etc. And those are extremely important to provide platform that are supportive of the blockchain technologies. I think in a nutshell, I wanted to share the interlinked between what the globe is intending to achieve in terms of reducing carbon emissions and also propelling towards a 1.5 degrees Celsius, as well as an interface that is supported by blockchain systems as well as other technologies, and how countries that will be trading commodities with green attributes could start, harvesting, value from such commodities. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Libanda. I think you have really engaged in a manner that we understand the use case, the potential of blockchain within climate change. Very interesting words: smart contracts, tokenization, and these are developments that are not yet to come, but they're already happening. I think it's so opportune that within blockchain, there is already a use case and an application for climate change, particularly with carbon credits, the ability to trace them, ability to ensure there's efficiency, but also ability to now effectively record and have a registry. And I think what I've just gathered from the brief discussion is that the blockchain is an essential tool towards allowing climate change objectives to be accelerated, but also ensuring that as different countries, especially within Africa and globally, are now able to have a platform that's secure, transparent, and of which can now be deployed and used to optimize and advance the objectives of climate change. Very interesting discussion with Mr. Libanda there. What is also very interesting, and I wish I could engage him on that, is that currently within Africa, and our research has shown that there are no African companies that actually do registry and certification of carbon credits. If at all, the 5-6 companies that operate in this space are all European companies. And yet African countries participate in platforms such as Davos and climate change initiatives, and yet there are no companies within the carbon space that are able to certify, that are able to register, and able to ensure that we effectively utilize our carbon credits and trade on them. But I think these are interesting developments, and this is exactly what blockchain enables us to do, in that we are now able to fully effectively take advantage of our own responsibilities towards climate change using technology as a whole.
That's the keyword, Africa. So the keyword is really to take over the responsibility for our planet, for our resources. And let me think about backwards 4 years ago when I started to see a platform. So blockchain is not a platform by itself, but we use software solutions to use it or to bring value on the blockchain. We call it tokenization. So that's the key word for today. And in the afternoon, we have really a world-class news from Edward Myers from the Netherlands about tokenization of commodity, especially gold-backed, securitized asset-backed tokens. When we tokenize something, that's so easy to understand, but we have to use new words. The word in Africa is so important. So we have really to learn to understand, because when we use these words and we didn't, let's say, learn the words and the meaning of it. So this is why I'm focusing on education. Educate yourself, invest in yourself, and I want to encourage the companies as well in Africa to get more involved, because people think they know everything, but they don't know. They don't know.
I think that's why we have this platform from Christine to engage in a discussion where we explore blockchain as a technology and demystify some of the aspects around blockchain. As I've earlier highlighted that Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, digital assets are but a small function of blockchain technology.
It's an important function to get used to it, because people we all need energy, we all need money, we need to understand that we have needs. For what do you spend money? For what you are responsible? We are coming back, let's say company leaders, we encourage you to get involved, ask questions, interact. And we have in the audience and the background here, we have business people, they are really Africa. Later we will talk to them in person. They are really thinking ahead above, and they want to take the quantum leap to be on E-plan, on E-structure. You see, it will be digital, like digital assets. It will be digitized. We should not have fear. But it needs that as well, the elderly generation has to learn as well. Take a pen, have a paper, study, take your time for it. It's the basic. It starts in us. It's really the blockchain industry will will revolutionize all fields of industries, but it starts in us to use it. And for what do we use it? And as Benedict mentioned, for the climate change. So we trade then carbon, we are trading carbon, yeah, but how we do it and why we do it. And I think the Netherlands are ahead, they are in the field and want to get him to be an educator, an ambassador for the blockchain industry.
Thank you so much, Christine. I think before we engage with our correspondents and counterparts in the different parts of the world, now one group and some of our guests who will participate in this fully packed day filled with events where we will touch and get into the deeper discussions around digitization of Africa, the use of blockchain, currently looking at the different state of blockchain within the different countries in Africa, Namibia, around our neighbors, as well as the world at large, doing a comparative review, looking at cryptocurrencies, regulations, innovation, and also what's happening in the different parts of Africa, different projects, different initiatives. I think for the first-time viewer who sits and wonders, and we've constantly used the word blockchain, from a layman's term, just to understand what is blockchain. Second of all, what are smart contracts? What is tokenization? We are familiar with these terms, but these terms are acronyms to a lot of people that might be watching this point in time. And I think part of our discussions today, while talking of exciting developments and projects and facets within blockchain, it's really to educate, but also give our viewers an opportunity to have a basic understanding of what blockchain really is, but at the same time, as Mr. Libanda has highlighted, few terms, tokenization, and we can talk about tokenization all day, and where the future business is a tokenized business, where the mining assets, the mineral assets is a tokenized asset. We have seen what's currently happening within also the mineral, the global commodities, where you are now see companies using resources, mining resources or otherwise any other commodities, and they back that and they use that to back up digital assets, creating a value for it. And we'll engage in that discussion insofar as the security that comes to that, security tokens and what it does. But for the ordinary viewer, security tokens have no meaning, have no understanding. Backing up digital assets with commodities. Also, it's important that we explore that and understand what it is. We would accept that just as fiat has no intrinsic and inherent value.
Not anymore.
It never had.
Yeah, it had till the time when President Nixon, let's say, detached the value of paper money from the gold-backed standard in 1971. And why he did it, and come now to the centralized world of finance, we have to go one step backwards to understand why we are living on debt, why we don't have value behind our Namibian dollars, or maybe the European euro, yeah, the Japanese yen and the Chinese yuan. So there is nothing. And coming back to this, maybe I step into the centralized finance, or is that because we have to understand why we tokenize, why we have a DeFi world, and we will have CeFi embraces DeFi and DeFi embraces CeFi. So the decentralized world, which is now happening, we are in that transformation and living it as humans, but in a centralized world, Africa.
That's right.
You are depending on a central institution. That's it all about. And this is why we have this discussion, because we are not educated. And let me bring one sentence, only one. In the last 4 years, I never met somebody, it doesn't matter from here to there, from the north, east, south, and west, who was really educated in finance. And this is why we use the blockchain first for finance. And we have to be educated in finance to understand, because we want to get profit out. Companies, why you have it on your balance sheet, a minus or a plus? You have cash flow, positive or what? So we are talking about money, profit, and that what keeps our society stabilized is the word of money.
That's right. We'll enter in those discussions when you take us through, obviously, through the DeFi, centralized, traditional economy versus the blockchain economy. We should be heading to our colleagues now shortly and engage in our key debate discussion around blockchain. But I think before we enter that discussion, very important for the viewer that's currently watching is, and I've highlighted, words such as smart contracts came up, words such as tokenization came up, words such as, within the blockchain, really just from a layman's term, somebody who's never heard blockchain, what would you explain in the most basic explanation? What is blockchain?
Basic explanation is that you use technology, which is meant to be computerized, digitized. Smart contract is nothing else. It is a protocol on a blockchain. We have two types of blockchain. It's a private or a public blockchain. So private means you don't have access. Somebody has give you permission to access it. But on a public blockchain, which we use, let's say, for the Bitcoin blockchain, we have Ethereum blockchain, we have the Tron blockchain. It's used for financial purposes. But when we talk about smart contracts, which it's a protocol. And normally you have to learn, and I want to emphasize it and encourage the new generation. It's for you. From a teenager age, let's say 17 till, let's say 71, you have to understand programming and coding. So it's technical stuff that you have to learn these languages. I call it languages, which comes down to a protocol, which might be done by JavaScript or Python or Rust. So there is something which is similar to us. Us as human beings, we are downloading information, we are storing it, and we release it. So it's the same process. But why we use smart contracts, the word, it's an intelligent contract meant to be on a protocol which gives you from A to Z a securitized block which you never can change anymore, the transparency. So it's nothing really rocket science. It's really something what you have to learn to bring what on the blockchain value.
We will touch into that discussion and we will break it down and really simplify it for some of our viewers and those that are participating in today's program. I think our colleagues from Studio 2 live and ready for us to engage, and our discussion primarily would again look at how blockchain could aid, and if there's any use of a use case made out for blockchain in African digitization, as well as the hot topics around digital assets, cryptocurrencies, technology, the innovation around it, but also the absence of regulations in some jurisdiction, the regulation that is currently evolving, but also the framework required to operate therein, and also understanding whether within a decentralized world we can have a central regulated regime over it. Heading over to our colleagues at the Nile One Group, I would like to invite our guest for us to start off with our first debate discussion and also share their developments within Uganda, as well as the different countries around them, as well as looking at the state of blockchain in their jurisdiction. Welcome, and we are excited to have you as part of this one-day summit in which we discussing, exploring, and really just giving the public out there the opportunity to sensitize that blockchain.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. J, and the team at large. Good morning, everyone. Good morning about our team in Namibia. I bring greetings from Nile One Group of Companies. We are here in Kampala, Uganda, and well, we are into what we call Web3, the blockchain infrastructure. And I really thank you for the organization that is happening. Well, from the point of view and my experience, blockchain these are just distributed ledgers, and the framework alone has a lot of impact to the Africa's community if we embrace it very well. It's not a bubble, as some of the people think. No, it's a technology that is changing the way how things are done. So I don't know whether you can hear me well, but I wanted to communicate something on the blockchain. Someone asked me that does blockchain technology has potential to change the way how things done in Africa? The answer is yes. And to the different levels, from the stakeholders, those are the government agencies across, and also to the entrepreneurs, me and you. You know, AJ, of recent, we clocked 8 billion people globally. And I have a feeling that because of time and change, now Africa has an opportunity with blockchain's ecosystem to run its services and also run, like there's equal access to the global market outlook in the economy. Let me give you an example of a country called Congo. Congo is one of the wealthiest countries globally. Congo is in East Africa. But Congo's wealth, the natives have not benefited because there hasn't been a structure of the way how people can benefit from the services. But now through this coming of tokenization of assets, I believe that governments around the world and also the people in those jurisdictions can always set up infrastructure whereby they welcome what we call the smart investors, and they tokenize their minerals, their timbers, they tokenize their gold, they tokenize all the services on the blockchain ecosystem. Now, and also to the regulations globally, governments around Africa that have been facing a challenge of the unbanked into the financial inclusion. Now, we've seen blockchain in finance, whereby it's so easy to the governments monitor and tax or raise revenues from the activities because financial inclusion on blockchain has been made easy. People own digital assets, and those digital assets run on smart contracts of the blockchain, whereby it's so easy to manage. Then also, on the other hand, it's easy to focus on monitoring government services on the blockchain. It has been made easy because gone are the days whereby you allocate funds and then you don't know whether that money has been affected, let's say in the health sector. Right now, it's so easy to monitor that on the blockchain, And I think, AJ, if time allows us, we'll be able to demonstrate how those things can be done practically. We've also seen blockchain in farming, whereby right now it's easy to monitor your food from the farm to the fork. That's how we call it on the blockchain. A case in point here in Uganda, where I am right now, it has been so difficult, our Uganda produce, to be sold on the global market. For example, coffee and many others, because our food is not well monitored. For example, from the planting season to the season of harvest, it has not been easy because the data is not collected, which makes it so difficult to sell on the global market. However, right now on blockchain, that has been solved. It's so easy to monitor it, to monitor your food. We call it from the farm to the fork, with all the gradings and the data, because blockchain, AI, big data is the way how business is done. So let me also go to the ecosystem. The ecosystem is taking shape every single day, AJ, and those viewers who are watching us. It is growing on a very supersonic speed, like the way how in 2009 blockchain was maybe seen. That's not the way how blockchain is right now. We've seen a lot of ecosystems coming up with a number of projects, but also with use cases in different areas of the world. And of recent, metaverse came into play. A lot of major companies like Facebook, they've even changed their names from Facebook to Meta. And a lot of other companies, Google, Amazon, they're coming together to make sure that metaverse economy grows. And it's, some of the services in the metaverse economy, they're gonna be onboarded through the tokens, the tokens that we are holding, the Bitcoins and other alt tokens. They're gonna have value in the metaverse economy. The NFTs that you've been talking about, they're gonna have a lot of meanings in the metaverse economy, because people are going to own fractions of that in their businesses on the metaverse. Companies are buying land in Africa here. MTN was one of the companies that came through to venture into the metaverse. But since then, a number of things have been upgraded and being integrated in the ecosystem. Yes, over to you, AJ.
It has a future use, but also that it's currently being deployed and used. It's very interesting. You would remember that when we were in Dubai not so recently at the World Innovation Tech Summit, that 60% of the economy currently in every sector is currently being set up on the blockchain. That's from aviation, the agricultural, the logistics, and they're currently building the equivalent of what you would call Silicon Valley as well. And they've positioned themselves deliberately in this regard because they recognize that the future of the world is dependent on one of the most singular revolution or opportunities that have emerged in this generation that will create exponential generational wealth, and therefore recognizing the fact that technology plays an increasing role in the modern digital economy. We cannot talk fourth industrial revolution. We cannot talk Internet of Things. We cannot talk cybersecurity. We cannot talk all these acronyms without recognizing what blockchain, the role of blockchain in all of it. And I suppose, having heard what you've just said, Mr. Malonda, it is only encouraging to know that Africa now, for the first time, has a platform that is not dependent on having to rely on, uh, you know, other countries, or having to rely on handouts, or having to rely on, grants. But now that technology in itself has created a platform where
Yeah,
uh,
AJ.
what is.
Oh, yes. Uh, yes, what you've really talked about is correct, 100%. Uh, can you hear me well?
Can you, or you just proceed?
Yes. Um, when I was studying, they taught us about the factors of production. Uh, that was land, labor, capital, and maybe I may have forgotten something else. But right now, as we are in the 21st century, I believe from my own understanding that a lot of things have changed. Now we talk about uh, people, technology, and time. Those things are very key factors in the adoption and the growth of the business or the economies of the world. Technology, people, and time. Go and check the first 10 countries, the first 10 companies globally, the leading companies. These are all tech companies. They predicted where the future is going, and then they positioned themselves there. Look at Elon Musk is running a number of companies in tech. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at a number of them. Jack Ma in China, and more other companies. So, trust me, I believe that the next big economy after India, because India is exporting a lot of startups in the tech sector right now, and people now the entrepreneurship is right now there. But we believe that the next big economy by the year 2030 is going to be Africa. And on this note, I call upon all stakeholders to focus on Africa. Why? Because Africa has the resources. See all these devices that we are holding, the iPhones. The raw material is coming from Africa. You see? Everything, the food, the nature, the climate. So if we focus on Africa, if we focus on now empowering communities, creating more discussion symposiums like this that you've created, I believe we're going to create a lot of people who are going to champion or lead the Africa's economy, not in terms of politics alone, but also in terms of economy. Over to you, AG.
Our brothers from Uganda and Nile. It's so important what he said about, and keep in mind that only focusing on Africa, the biggest prosperity will be in Africa. We have round about 1 billion young people. They yearn for it, and it's meant to be for Africa at least. All the BRIC states, we know, uh, engaged Iran or Iran, and but you see about economy and the use of blockchain and the blockchain industry or the ecosystem. We have a new word.
Okay, as AJ is coming through, uh, let me keep going with our conversation on the blockchain. Take a look in our tourism sector. I believe that a number of things have not been done. For example, the digital characters of our tourist centers in Africa can be integrated in the blockchain services and also in the metaverse, whereby it's so easy to attract tourists across in and out, but when they're using metaverse. So I give back to AJ. AJ, you there? Hello, AJ. AJ, are we there? Okay, there's another question that has come through, that the future of digital banks using blockchain. To my own analysis, the future of banking is taking shape. The future of banking is taking shape from the banking halls, whereby someone has to go to the bank to spend maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour in the bank. That thing is getting taking shape because the research shows that 60% to 80% of Africans are unbanked. They're unbanked. They still keep their money under the mattress, keep their money off the normal banking systems. But with this coming of the future of banking, I believe digital currencies are taking shape, and they're including all the unbanked. See, right now, there's a platform, a digital bank, we call it a digital bank, called Binance. Binance was launched in 2017, 2018. And I happened to have a chance whereby I was in a conference where Sizi came and he explained what Binance is all about. By then, here in Kampala, Uganda, in 2018. But as we speak right now, the ecosystem of Binance has grown because the future of money, the financial freedom is so easy. It has been made easy. You can move your money from over and over again, from Uganda to Namibia to South Africa to China to UK, maybe in the twinkling of an eye. So I believe that the future of banking is really taking shape. When Bitcoin came in 2008, 2009, it was just one token. But as we speak now, we have over 20,000 tokens on the coin market cap. The all-time high of the coin, the capital marketization, it went up to 3 trillion US dollars. All-time low right now, we are seeing it as, at $800 billion. We have hopes that, and to the research that is happening, by the year 2030, it's going to go to maybe $30 trillion because use cases have been created. Right now, we see a number of projects that have come through solving people's problems on ground. So because a number of companies have understood what challenges are they going, what challenges people are going through. For example, sale of blockchain. They are creating a number of fast-moving products on the blockchain, whereby you don't need even a a bank or an address. You can use your phone to have everything. It is one-stop shop center. So to me, I believe that moving forward, the future of banking is taking shape, and all the unbanked are getting they're getting into the inclusion. We have to just keep educating our people. How best can they tap into legit projects instead of investing in Ponzi schemes across? Over to you, AG. Are you there?
Hi. Sorry, we're just we're experiencing few issues with our internet.
Oh yes. In Africa, it's normal. Apart from my brother in Finland, where they are running on a 5G internet. Killian, are you there? Okay, keep your questions coming through. If you're online, please keep your questions coming through. We are able to answer them here. Thank you so much. We want to answer.
Yes, Mr. Daniel.
Yes, Chairman. Let me.
Yeah, unfortunately, only the host was able to unmute my mic, so we are all here.
Awesome. So
muffled.
Awesome. So I think as by the virtue of being that we are now online with a group of people, I'm gonna invite you so that you join in.
All right. First of all, let me give a quick introduction of myself. I'm Killian Mugenyi, the co-founder of Nile One.
Thank you.
I'm from the background of telecom engineering and also business. I turned the crypto trader 2017 to date, alongside our Nile One business that provides education, media services through our studios.
Are you able to
and also drive crypto and blockchain adoption by participating in events and organizing events such as this one. Before I continue, Daniel, someone had argued that Binance is not a bank.
Okay.
I would say it's not a bank, but considering how they offer their services, most of these exchanges have become banks. They have become digital banks, and you see around the world, they are becoming a big threat. And regulation is coming hard on them because they are offering pretty much banking services. People are keeping their money on these exchanges. They are being given interest through things like staking. Their money is being loaned out. They're able to loan money out, and so many things that the banks do. So it's pretty accurate to compare it to a bank. Let me turn on my video if possible here. Yeah, so with that, I would like to say that from a layman's understanding, I would explain blockchain as the new operating system of the world. Blockchain is basically the base layer on which other applications are built. And in this way, you can have an internet, what we call an internet of value. Things that were done were not possible before can be done now thanks to a blockchain. So it is basically a record of transactions that is stored on across a network of computers around the world, which makes it immutable, which makes it decentralized. It increases security, among other things. So a blockchain, the first blockchain created was Bitcoin, and many people see it as money, which it was meant to be, and a medium of exchange. Other blockchains came along, such as Ethereum, which brought other benefits. So to explain it to the layman, a blockchain would be compared, for example, Bitcoin, I would maybe compare it to, say, Windows operating system. You have maybe Android on other devices. You have iOS for Apple. So on top of these operating systems, you have different applications. For example, on Windows, you will have things like Microsoft Word for doing your, everyday business work. You have video editing application and so much more. So this can be done on these blockchains. So this is why, besides Bitcoin, which was created for one purpose, to be a store of value and a medium of exchange, other improved and advanced blockchains came into play, such as Ethereum, which introduced what we call smart contracts. So smart contracts is basically you writing a program that can execute tasks automatically on the blockchain, which of course is going to replace a lot of jobs in this world, whereby things are going to be automated. So when you combine all this with new advancements in things like artificial intelligence and such, we're going to see an internet where most of the things we do in our daily lives are handled on online. So an example of a smart contract would be, for example, you build an application which enables people to deposit their money and lend it out without having to know the person you're lending to. And the person borrowing from you also doesn't need to know who you are. However, you're able to execute this transaction. And the middleman here now is the blockchain or the smart contract itself. It will play the role of taking your money, lending it to the other person, and also responsible for recovery of that money. So in this way, the blockchain has eliminated the middleman. So you have direct trade from me to the end user. And this improves a lot of things in terms of speed. There is no need to trust the other party, because by the time I'm borrowing that money, before I can, maybe the button that I need to click to borrow that money is activated, I need to have that collateral, okay, that is required to borrow the amount of money that I need. So there will be no one to lie to you. Maybe, as you know, that today, for example, in Uganda, there are stories where people go to banks to borrow money. A person will come by your house, take a couple of pictures, go to the bank and tell them, hey, this is my house. It's valued at maybe $100,000. I need to get a loan of $50,000. Somebody comes and takes a loan of your property. Next thing you know, they're knocking on your door and you have no idea about this. So such things will be eliminated. So blockchain comes with a lot of benefits in terms of security, immutability. I mean, nobody, as you can see, Bitcoin has been a topic since 2009. Of course, it started out as a medium of exchange amongst the tech guys in gaming and online trading, the dark web. So it started out with a negative, let's say, image public, but it has evolved to this day to become something that is part of our daily life. Some of us use it on a daily basis. Here in Finland, there are ATM machines out there where you can go. You scan your QR code on your phone, you buy Bitcoin or you sell Bitcoin for cash. So you see that it's advancing, and we shall get there. Right now, most of the applications are technical, because I see so many people interested in joining this space, but they just can't get their minds around this whole situation because it's kind of complicated, right? I compare it to back in the day when we were in high school. We used to learn computers through Microsoft DOS. You know, it's a black screen with where you have to even to just copy and paste or transfer a file from one location to another. You had to type a code. So until that was overcome, then adoption started. But before, everyone would look at this, oh, and they're like turned off. They're like, this is not going to help me in my world. So
I didn't get that. Could you
as we
try
go
again?
ahead, sorry, my computer is responding. As we go ahead and develop in this space, applications are going to be improved. The user experience is going to be improved so that even the person that did not go to university or high school is able to at least benefit from some of the services that blockchain offers without having to be so much technical and go into the geek things that some of us maybe are involved in. So our role as Nile One in Uganda is to provide things like education. We have our Nile One studios, which we use to produce content, most especially around financial technology and innovative business and technology. We help to drive adoption of cryptocurrencies in our nation and around Africa. As AJ mentioned earlier on in March, we were in Dubai for almost 3 weeks, attending various events. This is how we got acquainted with AJ. And to this day, I mean, we have built big networks around Africa and internationally, with Africa Chamber of Digital Commerce in the US, with Gray in Dubai, among other people that really come and participate. We have in Nigeria, Crypto TV Plus. These people have come to Uganda. They've seen what we do. We've been engaging with them, Crypto University. I mean, we are encouraging people to come on board. I know it might sound very complicated, but if you give it time, engage with the people in the space, it's more of a practical thing because we'd like to show you how these things work in a practical way. Unless you try them out, I could speak for 2 years here and still you'll not get it. So you come to our offices, you experience things like virtual reality, you see what it means, what is virtual reality, because when somebody puts those glasses on and maybe enjoys a game or explores something, when they get those glasses off, their mindset has totally reset. They now see things in a different way. Somebody said that, hey, when I'm in there, it feels like I've moved from one world into another, because you see people falling down on the ground, screaming, because the mind has believed what they see in there, that it's reality. So it's what we call virtual reality. Now, based on that platform, the blockchain now is moving to virtual reality to create what we call the metaverse. A metaverse is pretty much the digital representation of our physical world. So we shall be able to do a lot of things in the metaverse. For example, you'll be able to attend classes. You'll be able to attend meetings in the metaverse. So you will not need to travel all the way. I think COVID-19 showed us that a lot of things can be done without you having to travel. Among other things, we are here meeting online. So imagine in a metaverse where we'll be seated at the panel with AJ, and we feel like we're all in the same space, and we have a nice discussion. I mean, social media experience is going to change. So this is why you see Facebook went ahead to buy a company called Oculus that produces those virtual reality glasses. Our studios have those glasses. I think they will demonstrate. And then they also changed their name from Facebook to Meta, because now they realize how social media is going to be changed. We're going to change from typing a message, tweeting, or texting writing a text, to speaking. Or like you send your friend a message on Friday, hey, let's meet up in Dubai, you know. Yet both of you are in Uganda, and you end up in Dubai because you're using your virtual reality glasses, and you choose where you want to go. So, I mean, if most of the new innovation in this world are first taken up by people in technology. You can see how the internet was taken up. It took a long time to pick up, but when it picked up, it was so fast. and it has changed our life. In the last 20 years, so many things have happened in our lifetime that, I mean, without internet and computers, I think we would never have achieved. And now blockchain is going to make that even better because it's going to become more efficient. It's going to become more reliable. It's going to become safer. People are going to take back the rights of their intellectual property in terms of data, your information, because your information is what these big data companies sell for a profit, and you get nothing in return. So if you own your data, you could monetize this. You could produce your content, post it online, instead of having likes and just comments. People will tip you online straight into your wallet. So the possibilities are endless. And maybe I would like to also give chance to some other speakers to take part as we wait for our host to return, because I have a presentation at 12. So I don't want to take up all the time right now. Otherwise, thank you guys for listening. We hope to have a good discussion going forward.
Apparently, allow me to introduce also another speaker here from the studios. This is the chairman of the board. He's a banker. Someone was asking us something about the banking area. He's a banker. He's a general manager of one of the biggest banks in Uganda here, Centenary Bank. And from his perspective, he's going to explain to you what has what's the future of banking? Where do they see the banking services are going? And together with me, let's welcome Mr. Arnold Diviansi as we wind up our session from Nile One Studio 2. Thank you. Arnold Diviansi, are you there? Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everybody. It's still morning here in Uganda. As I've been introduced, my name is Arnold Biansi Bernard. I am the board chairman of Nile One and also a partner of Nile One.
Are you able to come on the screen?
A banker. Pardon?
Are you able to come on the screen?
I'm on the road, I'm driving, I'm trying to, the network is not, I don't know why, I'm not able to put
It's okay, let's have you, it's okay.
Yeah, at the right time when I'm allowed to, I'll show my face so that members get to know who I am. I was telling members that I'm a banker. That's what I do for my day job, and then while I'm not doing banking, I'm doing a lot of things to deal with crypto, metaverse, and the like. Now, there's been a very big debate on the chat about whether Binance is a bank or not. And we say that it's all according to perception. Bankers are basically custodians of trust. And bankers manage from gold, digital assets, currencies, fiat currencies, and the like. Even land titles. You can actually have you can have a cash deposit where you put your gold necklaces and they are kept. But so basically, banks are basically custodians of trust. Now, if you look at the platforms that have come up, a platform like Binance also is a custodian of trust. And all we're doing digital what? It's digital in nature. So banking has evolved from what it used to be. In the olden days, we used to keep gold, diamond, and minerals in banks. You had to pack your whole trailer load of gold for it to be kept. And it evolved to currency, which is equated to gold, because most of the money that we have is either equated to some minerals of one kind or another to give it value. Otherwise, that paper without value is valueless. So banks then evolved into looking after fiat. Now, with the onset of digital currencies, I'm very sure that many of us are now not touching money, but are able to transmit large amounts of money by pressing laptops, your computers. You send a 0101 message, but that message is either equivalent to from $1 to $1 billion. And the person who gets value is the one who's able to transmit that value into whatever they want to. If they wanted to buy a car and they're able to buy a car, then they've gotten the value of the car. So, right, I would say that Binance is a bank, only that it is looking after different kind of assets. But the principles are the same. They are custodians of our trust. So we keep our USDTs there. We do so many things on the exchanges. So banking, the future of banking, the fact that banks have accepted digital currency, and we are seeing digital currency is evolving. We see mobile money, we see Nairobi M-Pesa. I don't know which mobile payments are in Namibia, but I'm sure you have some kind of mobile payments. I haven't versed myself very well with the Namibia mobile money kind of transactions. But now you are able to move with your phone and you're able to send money anywhere in the world for as long as you're using the right digits and the right language. So that also comes to banking. Now, the way banking is moving, it's mutating. And right now, as we speak, banks all over the world are looking into the area of crypto, because crypto has come to stay. It's not going anywhere. And what now we are seeing is that various regions in the world are coming up with their own cryptocurrencies. Yes, we will have a main cryptocurrency. Like you see, most of our money is pegged on the dollar. Now, what is happening in the space is that every crypto dealer is trying to make their crypto to be the number one cryptocurrency. Right now, I think I'm right to say that Bitcoin is the number one cryptocurrency because everything is pegged on the Bitcoin. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, but currently that is where we are. So yes, banks are starting to adopt the future, because if you don't adopt the future, you become extinct and you die. Now, what they are doing is that banks are adopting the future with some bit of caution, because for you to have trust, you must have physical assets. So that is where now the banks are now trying to manage. But of course, we'll leave the experts to handle that. I just wanted to bring in and tell members from a point of view that, yes, from the debate, Binance is actually a bank, though it does not operate like a traditional bank. That's where now the difference is. It is a modern bank. And now banks, I know that in South Africa, there's a bank that is actually thinking of actually dealing in the digital currencies. I don't know how far they've gone, but the next we talk, I'll have done my research better and I'll be able to let you know. But the one thing on the minds of all banks is that this animal called cryptocurrency has come. How do we deal with it? Because if you look at the amount of money that moves on crypto, we are talking about billions and billions of dollars. And banks want to have a part of that. How do they get a part of that share? By adopting and making themselves ready to embrace the future of digital currencies. Thank you for now. I just wanted to just highlight areas of banking. And I'd like to tell members that it doesn't matter how you're going to differentiate or describe banking, for as long as the key thing is that you are a custodian of trust, that qualifies you to be a bank. Thank you.
All right.
Over to you, Dak.
Thank you so much. That has been Arnold Iviansi, one of the senior bankers in Uganda here. Oh, by the way, to let you know, here in Uganda, we've already moved a milestone. our regulators are now focusing on how we can have a sandbox to register all these opportunities. Because what if it becomes the future as we strongly believe? So let's go back to Killian, because we wanted him to clarify on something here briefly. Killian, are you there? Hello, Killian. You're welcome to discuss about the tokenization of assets. How is it done, and how best can Africa embrace it? Because you and I know that Dubai is doing it. They tokenize all the projects. You've seen what they do with the real estate. Real estate projects on they are being tokenized, and so many other projects. So what could be the possible solutions on the tokenization? Because Africa borrow a lot of money from the West, East, and everywhere. So how best can they raise capital, not even to the stakeholders, but also to the young entrepreneurs? How do they raise capital on the blockchain? Thank you so much.
Thank you also to Mr. Arnold. Mr. Arnold is a senior banker. He has been in banking for over 20 years at the senior level. So it's a pleasure to have him on board at NIA1 as one of our as the board chairman. We could argue about whether Binance or whether exchanges are banks or not, but I would say one thing. Exchanges are going to be the new definition of banks going forward, because if you realize that when you get into crypto, right now, so many people in crypto don't have traditional bank statements, because most of their money is already on the exchange. I mean, taking it back to the bank would be for a specific reason, really, not necessarily required, because honestly speaking, you've seen most of these crypto exchanges now are offering Visa and debit cards. Okay, so really you can't tell me it's not a bank when it can give you a card that you can go and use and pay. In Dubai, we were relying on crypto. We were using Binance cards for paying our day-to-day expenses. So, well, to me, I believe exchanges are the new banks. And the earlier we realize this, the better, because banks are trying to find ways to participate in this space, and creating an exchange or investing in an exchange platform is one of the ways that banks can stay relevant, because right now they have the capital, they have people's assets, and they need to bring them onto the blockchain and benefit from these advantages and innovations that are coming through. As we speak, I saw a video of Mr. Sizi, he's the head of Binance, and he mentioned that in a day they traded about $1 trillion. I think it was $1.3 trillion in one day. So at that rate, this is a company that has not existed more than 10 years, but I mean, the rate of growth is so fast. So if other players realize this, I think it would be better. So my topic of discussion today is to do with tokenization, what tokenization means, what are the benefits and challenges that come along with tokenization of assets, and in particular, we're going to discuss things to do with commodities. Those are the minerals that we have in Africa, the agricultural produce like cocoa or coffee, that we export on the international market, avocado, and so much more. So we shall look at some areas that could benefit from tokenization. And finally, I'll discuss a little bit about comparison, why I don't believe central bank digital currency is a good idea, at least for us, the citizens of the world. So let's start from there. Tokenization, in my understanding, would be the process by which you create digital tokens on the blockchain that represent ownership of real-life assets. So you break down these assets into fractions that are more affordable and accessible to a wider audience of people. So in other words, if someone wanted to own some gold, say, and you have a kilo of gold, how can you sell this kilo of gold unless you're gonna get one person to pay for it? So in order to get to increase the liquidity of this gold or the ease of selling this gold, well, we can tokenize it. In other words, we can say, hey, 1 kilo of gold is say $50,000. How about we break it down to 50,000 fractions such that any one person can pay $1 and own a piece of this gold. So in that way, you're most likely going to sell that gold in no time, right? So these are some of the things that what tokenization is. It's basically creating digital tokens that represent ownership in real life assets. Real life assets will include things like real estate, minerals, companies themselves as creating security tokens. So you're going to see things like how right now the stock market is running is going to change. Today you will buy your tokens, your shares of a company and trade them, right? But you don't actually own those shares, okay? Because somebody can decide to change the parameters the way they like. But if you create a token that you yourself can hold in your wallet and trade at your discretion to whoever you want, I think the power of that is massive. So to discuss what are the benefits of tokenization, we have things like greater transparency because they're built on blockchain, which provides transparency. It's more efficient and the cost of trading is faster because imagine I wanted to buy gold from Nigeria. I would have to find the person on ground with the physical gold. I would need to verify this gold if it's real or not. I will need to transfer that gold if I buy it from Nigeria to here, which involves security, a lot of security checks, so many challenges along the way. So time is wasted, it's not efficient, and so much more. But if I'm trading it as a token, it's simply me connecting my wallet to a platform and place a trade instantly. In about a minute or time, I have the ownership in gold. So you have increased accessibility. When something is broken down in smaller, more affordable tokens,
Dr.
gives
Clear.
opportunity to even the person that's low income earner to afford a piece of this technology or a piece of this asset.
Dr.
So if
Killian.
let's say you have 1 acre of land, you break it down to 8 plots. If you wanted to
are you able to listen to me? Killian?
Break it down in say 10 plots, each is 100,000. Suddenly you have more people that can afford. If you break it down to even maybe 1 million portions, you have even more people to afford. So this makes it more accessible to a wider range of investors, and it enables us to bring in more new money into the space. So it
Mr.
has
Killian,
the ability of
Mr.
immutability.
Mugenyi.
No one can really block your transactions, and there is a better wealth distribution.
We want to hand over to back to Studio One.
Mining, agriculture.
I don't know whether you can hear. They want to engage you on the tokenization. So please, AG, are you ready in the Studio One? AG, are you back on the Studio One? Hello, Mr. AG, are you there? So for those of you who have just joined in, this is a blockchain summit that has been put together in Namibia, powered by a number of companies. AJ Africa is among the main guys who have put it together. We are tackling on the issue of blockchain. how he's empowering the Africa's continent. And we are running it in 2 studios. Studio A is in Namibia, and then Studio B is in Uganda, Nile Studios. So we hand over back to Studio A. AJ, over to you. Thank you so much.
Much for interesting discussions and topics just touched on your end, and I think given the participants and those that are viewing an opportunity to understand the developments within Uganda, but also generally within the blockchain space, particularly different topics discussed upon. I think to take structure through our program, we will obviously now continue engaging on the topic that Killian had, but before we do that, we will expand a little bit on our earlier discussion, just to understand the state of blockchain within Uganda, state blockchain within Namibia, but also over and above generally in Africa. And for that, in our studio, we've got the CEO and founder of CBA, Mr. Kunrad Botha, who will engage with us with his views, opinions, as well as his perspectives on these discussions and well, his developments within our different jurisdictions as well. Just to touch on it, Mr. Botha, we've now looked at and we've heard our colleagues discuss the state of blockchain or these various elements to that. What would you, being a pioneer and being one of the earlier adopters of blockchain, but also most particularly within the crypto sphere, advance as why is there a need for us to embrace blockchain, but more specifically have a framework for it?
Africa, thank you for the invitation and to be here. I really appreciate it. Before I answer that question, I just want to say something small about blockchain. Everybody is referring to blockchain, and many people understand it to be one thing. There are many blockchains, plural. And it doesn't mean you get only one blockchain. That's one thing. The second thing, that the guy in the street that doesn't understand this need to know we all was at that stage at one time in our lives. The very first time that I heard about Bitcoin, I didn't understand a single thing because they used words that I never heard of in my life before, and I was so confused. The bottom line of this is this. How many of us understand electricity?
Explain.
You don't understand electricity. You don't know how it operates. You're not an electrical engineer. Yet, you switch on a light, just a switch, you turn a switch. And by turning that switch, you've got the benefit of having light. You've got the benefit of heating up water in the kettle. You've got the benefit of everything that's powered by electricity and the usage of it. And this is how I would like our people to see it. Forget about this intricate understanding of blockchain and how the blockchain, you don't need to know it. You can benefit out of it the same way as you benefit out of electricity. There are hundreds of people that are engineers, that are that knows and understand that. For you and me to make use of it, we just need to tap into it the same way that we tap into electricity. That's the basic thing. Secondly, is you get a blockchain application built for your specific need. And so, or you can run your application on a blockchain that is already in place by some minor changes to that application. And by doing that, you can have all the benefits of what they call tokenization. Tokenization is, if you want to compare it, is nearly like a share in an ecosystem which runs the business. Now here I use again words which is foreign to the people. What is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is just a formation or a platform where things run in accordance and is managed in accordance to a preset system and it runs that way. That's so easy as that. And once you just accept that, then you can jump in, you can start swimming without anybody even teach you to swim. It's so easy.
Thank you, Mr. Ruta. I think what is
So
important...
to come back to your question, sorry.
Well, be that as it may, appreciate your contribution and views on that. We do think it's important to understand the technology, not from a technical point of view, but understanding what it can do for the ordinary person on the street, its application, what it can do for somebody who previously would have been disadvantaged, who previously would not have access that ordinary, they now have access.
There are millions and millions of applications, and I want to compare it again back to the apps that we got on our phones. You know that in 2013, it's the first time that apps came to our reality in life. And before that, if you wanted to travel somewhere, you had a map in your motor car. Now you open up your phone, your smartphone, and you can go, as my little boy will say, to Google Maps. You type in where you want to go, and it guides you there. It's an application that does it. Now, since then till now, there are thousands and millions of applications that's been created. And so, if I have to give you all the possible applications in blockchain, then I will think you're stupid because I don't even know all the applications. However, there's some basic things that you can know. Right now, through the blockchain applications, there are already applications and in place where I can transfer value to you in certain tokens immediately from my phone without a third party being involved. On the blockchain already, there are a tokenization way of ownership into mining, into what they discussed on this previous program, assets. But as much as you can tokenize assets, you can also tokenize services. You can also tokenize any possible thing that you can think of. You know, there will come a time, and we're moving into electrical motor vehicles. I'll just give you a very simple, basic thing. If I want to travel on a highway between two cities, come Namibia don't have it, but come, let's say, in South Africa. I want to travel from Joburg to Pretoria. I'm a lawyer, and I need to go and see a client there quickly. And, oh no, I'm the old person, you're the lawyer. I'm the pensioner. So when I get in my car, I will be able to talk to my car, and I'll say to my car, listen, we need some electricity to charge you up when we get in Pretoria. So make for us some money on the way there. You are a lawyer, you also need to go to Pretoria, and you are in a hurry because you're late. Then you'll tell your car, listen, we need to be at this place. You give your final address where you want to go to, and you say we need to be there in 30 minutes. Now, the traffic is so heavy that you can't make it in 30 minutes. So then your car will communicate with me that blocks you and say, listen, car in front of me, if you could move just for 10 seconds to the left so that I can pass you by, I'll give you $1. Then my car say, no, $1.20. And you say, okay, it's fine, because you already instructed your car you can spend $5 on the way there. So I move to the left, immediately I get in my wallet $1.20, and you've passed me and you're faster at your place. You're on time at your place. I get at my destination. I've got extra $1.20, which I can now use while the car is parked to charge my car with electricity and while I drink a coffee as a pensioner. You follow what I'm saying? It's those things are things that people in the street can start saying, if I can do this and this, how will I apply it? And there's nothing as efficient in the world as a blockchain application or a blockchain interaction to create exactly those transactions. Because what you need is what we call contracts. A contract is not what you as a lawyer do, where you say a whole few pages of 20, 30, 40 pages Contracts is purely, if this happens, do this. If that happens, do this. This is how the blockchain operates. So if you put this into a program and you get a programmer to do it for you, it's done. So, and that is where we will be able, another application of it is, I have property which I want to sell. So I put my property in the market, and through the application that's been created for that, now there can now be a seller. I'm the seller. You have an estate agent. You have a buyer. That all come together, but it's replaced with people filling in forms. So the moment when a buyer brought me together with an estate agent brought a buyer to me, and this whole process is put in place. Through a blockchain, it's interactive and it's immediately. So that moment when the action takes place of the transfer of my property, it registers automatically in the deed office. The bank receives their outstanding amount towards them. The estate agent receives their funds immediately, and the seller gets his money, and it's done instantly without lots of interaction and whatever. And what is so nice about it, it's because when we refer to a blockchain, it's actually just a ledger. It's nothing else. It's information set in with a certain amount of data that forms a block. It's end off, sealed off, like being audited, and then it starts a new one with that previous one that was the end is now a new beginning. So you can never go and change it. So, and therefore, you can't crook on the system. It is where you still find auditors that play with their clients and do funny things, like the Enron case or the KPMG thing with South Africa 2 years ago or whatever. You won't find it. You can't find it on the blockchain. It's impossible. Once that blockchain is put in place and it's tested and audited for glitches and so on, it cannot fail.
Absolutely.
That's the nice thing.
Thank you, Mr. Britt. I think you've just expanded on some of the use cases, future use cases, the potential and the opportunities that blockchain can use. We still have in our lineup today, we have got ChainUp group. We'll have Jonathan Chan taking us through and engaging with us in terms of what's happening, what they do and how their company is helping with not only the utilization of blockchain in the financial space, but also with wallets, exchanges, and so forth. We've also got a couple of other discussions that will be coming up as far as tokenization as a topic that Kilian just touched on from that one group in terms of tokenization of assets, and we'll go back to that in a while. And that is the contribution that's still a commentary from Studio 2 regarding the previous topic, and we'll engage in that as well. We've got commodity coming up as well. And they're already advanced and they've already done what we're speaking about in terms of tokenizing. Of that. We're also going to be talking to Buddy, and we understand the opportunities currently that they have, or solutions that they've developed with making peer-to-peer payment possible, also ensuring there's solutions for your lower LSM, your unbanked, your underbanked, notwithstanding that Africa still has the biggest population of underbanked as well as unbanked. We'll get to explore some of those topics, but at the same time, understand over and above the different jurisdictional frameworks around the state of blockchain, and then filtering it through currently the headline topics around everyone's mouth. I think we'll make a commentary as well and just touch on why the regulators are at this point in time almost validated in their skepticism with, digital assets, cryptocurrencies. We've seen what's happened to FTX, and perhaps they were right. We'll interrogate. I'm not saying they were right, but perhaps they've made out a case to say, well, if you give this new tech companies, new startups, so much control over client deposits, and they do what they want in a space where they feel they're decentralized, they are not controlled, they can, carry on because the technology does not allow them to in a centralized form, and how that maybe might be encouraging money laundering, how that might be encouraging illicit, using it for illicit trades and hundreds, and perhaps there is a case made out. I think, without delving into it, but I think it'll be very important to understand the current sentiments around the markets and what that has done. And again, perhaps there is a need to regulate. There is a need to have a centralized regulatory to ensure that the public is not taken advantage of, or the public do not engage in otherwise activities that are not sanctioned by law or that are not ordinarily covered by jurisdiction. And perhaps their only interest is to protect the public, nothing more than that. And perhaps we need to understand it and appreciate it from that point of view. But we get to discuss this as well. Going back to Nile One Studios, we just wanted, there was a contribution from your side in the previous discussion. And briefly, to keep track of our program today, also just what's the state of blockchain in Uganda, and how's the government as well as the different regulatory bodies approaching it? And also, I know you guys have recently launched a national infrastructure on the matter of this. Back to you, Kilian and Mr. Malondo.
That question, let me invite my comrade here, who is with me here in Kampala.
Studio 2, can you guys hear me? Are you guys?
Yeah, we can hear you well. We can hear you well. Sule, join us, please. Sule is one of the blockchain enthusiasts.
We wait for our colleagues on the other side. I think I've just highlighted. We want to keep it quite brief because we've got another session coming up, Chain Up Group, very interesting discussion. The state of blockchain in Namibia.
So, state of blockchain, I want to confirm what Mr. Burta said about, you see, when we keep it simple for the man in the street, we see it's a vehicle, it's a railway, it's it's a highway for us. And coming back to the financial industry, we can use it. So blockchain has to be used in different industrial fields, like you mentioned, in the real estate, in the health industry, and educational industry. It's very important that we use it. We have this technology. And keep in mind, we have around about 2 to 3 billion people in Africa, or let's say worldwide. They don't have a bank account. So how they can get to be integrated into the market. So coming back to that, we know we have resources. Africa has it, Europe doesn't have it. So we will see. But coming back to the education, and I think, Kuni, you will agree that we have to educate. We discussed it so many times to become a beginner, an advanced person, and maybe sooner or later an ambassador for your own assets. So the responsibility is that you take over, because we had the chance, let's say, coming back to that traditional economy. We call it traditional economy. So in a centralized system, CFI meets DeFi, or we have in the future C-DeFi, that's merging. We could not take over the responsibility because a centralized institution took it. And they said, it's fine, it's okay, you are fine, it's okay. But think about it, half of the humanity had never forever the chance to participate in the financial industry. So this is why blockchain and Bitcoin, and I mentioned it, 40 years, 40 years ago, the main theme was technically done already. But the first use case was on Bitcoin. We all know this, and we know exactly when Apple released the first iPhone. It was 2 years before. So this technical revolution, or let's say, for us as an evolution, is a quite young business. And to use the blockchain in all the distribution, or let's say ledger technology, we call it DLT, these words we have to experience. There is nothing to learn. I have here, this is a tiny little device which we call an e-book. Yeah, an e-book helps. Not everybody has to have one, but to learn, to read, to study, to experience. Kuni, we need experienced people. They use it. And the only way to get into the field, to understand why you tokenize maybe a mining business, your business of coffee, delivering, and all of that. You have to have experience on a blockchain. You can install, because you don't need a bank account anymore. You need a wallet, which is a bank account on the blockchain. So it's so easy to bring it to the people because it's meant to be for people. And this is so exciting that we will have it. We will see it in the next 2 to 4 years. And keep in mind, we had till 2020, before then Corona, the pandemic started. Maybe it was meant to be from heaven, we don't know. 200 years of the epoch of materialism. So we need these things physically. But now we are coming to the point at the end, maybe metaverse or virtual reality. So it becomes 200 years of forming the process. We become that what we are, mind. The mind, the soul, and the body. So that's a big thing for people. But to earn through blockchain technology money, you can earn as on a social media platform. You can earn money in the internet as a marketer, a blogger, an influencer. But keep in mind, next year we will have it on the blockchain. We call it Web3. The Web3 is based on this, and this makes the use case. So the people, I agree, Puni, that the people will match easily, touch it, make it, but pen and paper is necessary as well. Yeah, don't forget to read and to do things because we are humans. And in Namibia, and especially in Africa, nature is culture, and the cultural background, the religious background is very important as well. So to educate yourself, I want really to encourage everybody, viewers, listeners from all continents, to study, to invest, that you have experience in blockchain technology.
Thank you so much, Christine. And I really just want to get to the topic and very briefly. As I said, our colleagues would be engaged with us in the commentary in that. But wrapping up this session, given and highlighted that Bitcoin cryptocurrencies are just but earlier use cases for blockchain and been popularized with, some would say, the granddaddy of blockchain, similar to your Coca-Cola and your Colonel's chicken. And they've just been popularized, but there is more that blockchain technology in terms of applications currency can also provide. Some spectators and some commentators would say cryptocurrency will change in its format, will change in its technology. So it's in its inception. Should be no hype about it. It should be no. The question we really want to head to is, as I said, we're looking at also the state of blockchain in Africa, but also in our jurisdictions. But given what has happened in the last 2-3 weeks at FXT, given what has happened not so long ago with other companies within the cryptosphere, where millions were lost of public funds through various scams, through various what would be activities related to potential fraud and all of that. And that has really crusted a negative image around cryptocurrencies, digital assets, but also wouldn't that warrant, especially what has happened during the last week, and validate the fact that these should be at the exclusive domain and reserve of your central governments or your central banks, because their only interest, I suppose, is to protect the public, not to get involved in areas which otherwise haven't proven themselves. And some skeptics would say the blockchain hasn't proven itself. Unlike fintech, it has proven itself. And blockchain still is.
But Africa, or Kuni, it clashes. When you say the central banks, and we know the duty of a central bank is to keep the inflation rate on a low level, let's say 2%. So it clashes when we say, okay, you have to take over responsibility for owning your wallet, for your private key and all of that. We don't want to go deeper. So protection means we look for the centralized institution. Why did it happen to FTX? Everybody whom I have spoken, you could see it about Alameda Hedge Fund and all that, the background of all that. So the mindset of the people, they were running all these businesses, including the centralized exchange, FTX, which was one of the best, the modernest, and most welcome in the business itself, had the consciousness of the traditional economy. And this is why it happened. So no central bank can stop this. The central bank is not in duty of to do this, to control it. So it should be, and I want to emphasize, please, don't compare crypto assets with a central bank digital currency, which will come soon, because this will bring up a control system which might protect the customer, might. But think about when you take over responsibility for your own assets and maybe the profit. So that might clash. I'm not looking in the glass bowl here, so I'm only thinking about it. And I think it's so relevant that it happened, Africa, that we see that we have to have regulation. We have to have a different framework which will be built up, maybe national-wide or country-wide or continent-wide. But keep in mind, we are responsible for that, what we want to see up. And this is why education is so important. Last question, maybe, and last sentence. How many lawyers of the Law Society are really educated, or chartered accountant, auditor, bookkeeper, and all of that? I embrace them. And I said, please, you have to be, because it happened, because nobody were aware what to prove, because they didn't understand the topic behind.
I think, Christine, we'll touch on that topic shortly. Let's just quickly go over to our colleagues at Studio 2, now one group, just to comment, and then we further expand on this. Very interesting point you made there.
Yes.
Mr. Malondo, Killian, can you guys just engage?
Hi, Mr. Eji. We are there. Otherwise, you guys are doing the incredible work on expounding of the blockchain and other use cases. Together with me here, we have one of our own from the studios here. He's among the members of Uganda Blockchain Association, and we've worked with him. He's one of the brains behind establishment of mobile money in East African region. And right now, he owns an exchange, one of the local exchanges here in the region in Africa. It's called Modas Exchange. And the gentleman behind that is called Suleiman Moringa. Are you there, Mr. Suleiman? Join us, please. Welcome.
And like AJ said, their major concern was consumer protection. Because he clearly said, hey guys, we understand blockchain is here, we see the potential it can have, but the first and most important thing is how do we protect the consumers? Before even this previous situation, just a few weeks ago with the FTX and collapse of the second largest exchange in the US and in the world, in Uganda alone, we had a $1 million haste where a company registered as a betting company, a sports betting company, but the services they were actually offering people on ground, because our regulators maybe did not follow up closely, where they were packaging them as crypto-related services. So they were taking deposits from people and giving crazy returns, because you would even invest for 1 hour and have maybe 100% return. So if someone deposited $10 for 1 hour and he gets $20 the next hour, they get to believe that this thing works, so they scale it up. This person might even go and get a loan of maybe $10,000 because he was paid, so he believes this is going to happen. But at the end of it, we call it rug pulling. Someone pulls the rug under your feet and you're left hanging with nothing. So this consumer protection is a big and major thing that needs to be looked at. As I was discussing the tokenization bit, someone asked about, for example, tokenizing gold. The question was, who stores the gold? So the lady on the discussion, forgive me, I did not get your name. I came a little bit late. She mentioned about a dollar had intrinsic value before it was moved from the gold standard. So you see, the role of the central bank was to custody your gold and issue a bill in terms of a US dollar, which is equivalent to the amount of gold that you have deposited with them. So $1 was an equivalent to 1 ounce of gold, and that was how the system was before. It moved on to the oil dollar later on. It's a long story to go into that. So as far as that is concerned, I think the system was working fine, but there was a challenge of verifying if the dollars issued actually are backed by the gold that these institutions claim to have. So to me, I believe this is how maybe central banks can come in. As far as the central bank digital currencies, I totally do not believe in them, and I think they are against what we stand for as cryptocurrencies in terms of decentralization, in terms of immutability, in terms of ownership of your assets. CBDCs have none of those characteristics. It's just a projection of our current system, bringing it into the blockchain space, because a CBDC, I think, would still be just digits on your computer, nothing to do with crypto. So the way I believe banks could come in is pretty much going back on the gold standard, or at least have a bucket of commodities. You could have gold, coffee, oil, diamonds, cocoa. We have a lot of valuable assets. So you have, maybe somebody would call it like a collection of the value of these assets to create a stable price and use this price to back the issuance of these currencies. So in that way, a central bank could be a custodian of the gold. Then you can contract these commercial banks to issue based on that. The central bank issues a stable coin backed by these assets, loans them, of course, to the bank, just the way the banking system is working. But this time, at least we can verify the dollars that are issued, more like how the biggest stable coin operates. So I believe a stable coin would give more value to us as the users, okay, and at least more power than CBDC. Why a stable coin is important in this space is, one, assuming today, let's speak about last month. Bitcoin was ranging in about $20,000. This month we're around $16,000. So if last month I was planning to buy property and I had one Bitcoin and it was worth 20,000, and I waited till this month, today, I would not afford that same property. So there's a lot of volatility, and to counter that, we need what we call stable coins. So if I was planning to buy property this month, and last month I had $20,000 of Bitcoin, I converted it into a stable coin, I would still have 20,000 today, and maybe I would be able to afford this property. So this is where a stable coin can help in facilitation of day-to-day transactions, much as the rest of the cryptos and let's say Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies could act like commodities, like they are seen in most jurisdictions, like in Europe here. These are seen as commodities, and you can trade them as commodities in most of in the UK, even here in Finland. So I believe that going forward, these institutions need to evolve. The old way of doing things is going to change, and if banks, instead of realizing how they can participate, they want to hold on to the old system, I believe they're going to be run over. Because as you see, in a very short time, cryptocurrencies like Binance have evolved to become literally the biggest banks in the world. And governments are starting to realize this. So we all know the old saying that he who controls the money controls the world. So if you can control the most used currency, then you control the space. You don't need to tell people what to do and where to go, what not to do. Because if you, for example, I'll give an example of Bitcoin. If you hold the biggest amount of Bitcoin or the biggest amount of mining power, you pretty much control the network. So decentralization helps to reduce this power. But now that our space is so small and all the money is owned by the banks and big institutions, well, they have a strong advantage to come in now and own this space because they can buy it up. But if they don't, well, we also have the opportunity to get in and become big players going forward. So discussing the issue at the end of I believe CBDCs are similar to fiat, created out of thin air, backed by nothing because no one can really verify. So if the central bank can custody this gold, create a token to represent the amount of gold, loan this token out to the commercial banks, and this money is put into circulation. So we shall still have our systems of borrowing and lending and so much other products built about this, but at least with greater transparency and greater control over these assets by the users. So with that, I hope our studio is available right now. Maybe they can chip in and have some.
Somebody that could just.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Kilian.
You also have one of the members of the Blockchain Association in Uganda, and I think he also wanted to just touch on one of the earlier aspects. Over to you in Studio 2.
Yes, allow me to introduce Sule Murunga. He's a member of Blockchain Association Uganda, and the brains behind the creation of mobile money in East African region.
Malondo, please?
Can you hear me well? Okay, if you can hear me well, let me introduce the founder of Moda Exchange. It's a local platform here in Africa that deals in remittance of funds. And also, this gentleman is a member of Uganda Blockchain Association. He's also one of the founders of mobile money in East Africa. I hope you and I believe that mobile money concept started from East Africa here with M-Pesa, and then it's now exported globally. So, Sule, are you online? Join us, please, as we are discussing use cases of blockchain and how are they impacting the Africa's continent. Sule, are you coming through?
Yes, I am available. Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome back from Ethiopia and Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I don't know if my video can come on.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah, you're there, right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that illustrious introduction. I hope I can meet the expectation you've set for me. I would like to thank the organizers of this event. It's great to see that there is activity happening in Namibia. I have just come from an Africa-wide tour. Unfortunately, I didn't get into Namibia, but hopefully I'll get an invitation from the hosts very soon. Like Daniel mentioned, my name is Suleiman Murunga. I am the founder of Muda, which is a pan-continental cryptocurrency exchange and OTC desk. We're present in about 10 countries. And our primary goal and mission is to provide liquidity and onboard as many people on the continent into the blockchain economy, because we believe the blockchain economy is the future of our continent and is going to provide a lot of opportunities for the youth. And we are trying to create a bridge that will enable as many people to come online as possible. I've had quite a number of interesting ideas and concepts being put forward in regards to the kind of applications that are going to come online as we move forward. And our role really as Muda going forward and as a member of the Blockchain Association of Uganda has really been to facilitate discussions and educate the youth and educate the population on why this technology matters. And one of the first things we did was draft a white paper to educate people and to give people an easy route to understanding why digital assets are an investable asset class. because in order for people to understand the power of this technology, which I call a horizontal technology, blockchain is a horizontal technology. And it being a horizontal technology means very many verticals can be built on top of it. You can build financial services, you can build medical services, real estate applications, music-based applications, and so on, all secured by this digital asset and this Web3 technology that will enable us to move to the next level of internet communication and internet connectivity. We drafted this white paper with the idea that once people understand why blockchain technology and digital assets are considered Web3, why do people consider these assets that have been created commodities, then it will allow people to open up their minds, both from the consumer perspective, business and regulatory perspective, on how this technology can be applied, how should we approach it in regards to regulation, and how is it best for us to consume this technology. And one of the key points we addressed in that white paper was the fact that blockchain technology enabled mankind for the first time to create digital scarcity, right? Value from the dawn of accounting has been based on scarcity. And as we have moved forward in time, we've moved from different kinds of economic systems to the point when we entered into the fiat-based economic system, which allowed us to print money on demand. And the scarcity of money disappeared, right? And blockchain technology has now allowed us to reclaim that scarcity, but at scale. And this is why it is important for people to understand how digital scarcity is achieved through blockchain technology, and how this digital scarcity can then be used to interact with economies and individuals across the internet, across boundaries and beyond borders. And at the moment, some of the applications we're seeing coming online closer to home have really been on enabling financial services, enabling people to get some sort of economic benefit from trading. P2P trading has been very, very widespread across the continent because we have a very large youth population. And this youth population has come into a time when jobs have not been as easily accessible or widespread as they would like, or we would like as a population. But this digital economy, this blockchain economy, has provided access to the global economy, to the global financial system. So we are seeing a lot of our users in different countries, Nigerian users interacting with Kenyan users interacting with Ugandan users, Ugandan users interacting with South African users. And these are people who are tapping into each other's economies. We're no longer in a situation whereby you're only limited to your geographical location. People are now able to tap into economic opportunities across borders due to this digital asset that is digitally scarce and valuable across borders, because we can understand the value. The value is easily translated and the information is out there. And so our question as MUDA, our question as the Blockchain Association is, how do we ensure that our users and economic participants tap into this? How do we ensure that the liquidity is available? How do we ensure that whenever there's an opportunity for them, they are able to address it, And because we're in this cross point whereby we are interacting with regulators at the same time, listening to the market at the same time, developing future solutions at the same time, we're really bringing all this information together, aggregating it and disseminating it. That's why, as part of our operations, is we have an educational arm. So I think from my perspective, what we really need to concentrate on as an industry, especially as the early participants across the African continent, is education. And with this education, because there is providing information on what is blockchain, what is Bitcoin, or what is an exchange, what is DeFi, but education in the angle of how do we activate these young minds. Remember, Africa is the youngest population in the world. We have very many ambitious youth. How do we provide educational content that enables these young minds, these ambitious minds, to tap into their creativity, and develop solutions that are locally relevant but globally relevant, so, and globally accessible. And this is where we're really trying to concentrate, and this is what I believe is going to be the future. So once these kind of things are implemented, these kind of discussions are being had, then you then find having these discussions with the regulator much more appealing, because now you're giving the regulator the kind of information that they would require to provide reasonable and consistent policies that will enable the industry to grow, because this industry is rapidly changing. Something that was relevant 18 months ago and hot is no longer hot today. And if you're regulated based on when you started this regulatory discussion, then you find the things that you're passing are not in line with what the market requires. So that's where we're seeing things go, and that is what I believe our concentration as an industry and early players should really focus on, as well as supporting every other discussion and industry sector that is coming online as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We hand over back to Studio A. Over to you, AJ, and we look forward to have more interaction sessions like this from our side, and a special thanks to Murunga, Mr. Killian from Studio A. Otherwise, we give back to you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Discussion, quite insightful developments happening in East Africa as well as in your part of the world, quite advanced as far as the early participants within the space of blockchain. I think rightfully said, how do we activate opportunities and educate? And I think what really came out was education, instead of dropping complicated acronyms, but really finding real application and real use case, and the technical meaning of what each of these different aspects mean. In the next 10 minutes, we will also be joined Chain Up Group, and they'll also take us through part of what they do and how they've contributed to or how they constantly and consistently contribute to development involvement of blockchain, but more specifically the financial space and where the modern digital economy is heading as far as finance is concerned. Coming just back to us in the studio here, and having touched on a few topics and aspects around the state of blockchain, but also mentioning some of the use cases, but over and above, it is one of the first events of its kind within the Namibian sphere. There are other activities that have touched on topics around fintech and blockchain, and again, this is simply a platform and opportunity to activate and really educate and sensitize the public around blockchain, but also its practical use cases and why the world is rapidly moving, and why we can't talk fourth industrial revolution without embracing innovation and application of blockchain, of which we've said are all indispensable and synonymous with each other, and how we can and really take advantage of it, embracing. So I think from the National Blockchain Association of Namibia, it's in its process of really consulting and engaging with the sector, and really getting people within this field. I believe there are many other Namibians who are highly knowledgeable in this field, and who are quite can contribute quite a lot in really having a national agenda and a national framework to take this further. And this is just about a first step, and it is really to welcome everybody on board, so that we take full advantage of the fact that we no longer live in a world where we can afford to be ignorant and pursue all these things. I think we, in a world where the digital economy is alive,
Yes.
it is present, it is here. We talk smart contracts and we talk all of these things. And it's not that we just mentioning it, but it is time that we now realize that in our environment, that what previously would have been a lack of opportunity or a challenge as a result of resources or the remnants of the apartheid regime or whatever challenges that might have been, what blockchain does, it squares that out. And
But let me, Africa, let me fit in with the central topic of education. Education, education. But you asked me with the invitation for this event, how could it be done in Namibia? We are sitting here in a studio and we're living the decentralized world. So when I hear our brother, and he talked about a white paper or a framework, and I talk about we will have a self-organizing system in a decentralized world. We can't do it on a centralized platform. We have to install all these platforms, and small groups, they can really enjoy themselves and learn these new words and the meanings and the experience. And by the way, we want to encourage you, we are recording all these sessions. If you don't have time or you want to spread out it to your friends, syllabus, or maybe to the older generation, it's recorded, you can watch it, you can listen, you can write down, you can send us an email if you want to dive in and you want to dive deeper. So we encourage you to do this, especially the young generation. And as I'm really trained by institutions, let's say central platforms of one-on-one blockchain or others, we have to encourage the people. Maybe you mentioned Africa, may I remind you, would we have the opportunity once here in a week that we have really physical conversation and we have it digital, so that we implement a structure that the people can fit in if they have the need, because it's necessary. You see, education is power. Knowledge is power. Without education and experience, it won't work.
I discussed that in my presentation.
that's it, and I think you can then touch on that, it's fine. I think just on that, Christine, and I think very important is that there needs to be a national agenda and a national conversation around this.
Really? I asked you, is it really from a centralized perspective, regulatory, or he mentioned the word motivation, and then you have a mindset. Why we can't organize each other by itself for the first step? We are the early birds, yeah? This industry will grow now fastly, rapidly. It will be disruptive, and we will never experience. We haven't experienced it. Humanity hasn't experienced. Or Kuni?
May I come in a quick comment?
Yes, Kilan, you may come in, sorry.
Yeah, speaking from an experienced background, I first interfaced with blockchain in crypto. I got to know about it 2015. At that time, I was still a telecom engineer at one of the biggest telecom companies in Uganda, that's Airtel. But I didn't take so much interest in it because it's a new concept and I didn't even relate it to my day-to-day life. My life was going great, so it didn't seem like it was going to be important. So people are really, I'm seeing we have a poll here, and about 40% people somewhat understand what blockchain is. So as the gentleman mentioned, I think trying to understand, as an end user, trying to understand what blockchain is like you asking what is electricity, and you want to go into the details of, those technical terms. So to me, I would say for us to have an impact on people to understand what the power of blockchain is through experiential learning. So until we bought the VR glasses and invited people to come and experience what virtual reality is, you would not explain to somebody what the metaverse would be, or how would the experience in the metaverse be. But when someone comes and plays a game or tours maybe the moon or a historical site in these VR glasses, they give a feedback and wonder, wow, this thing was so real. So it makes you now realize that, hey, what these people are talking about is not some kind of myth. It's something that is practical. So you realize that you can actually have a class in the virtual reality glass. So combined with blockchain, there are more, it brings more possibilities, more features that can be added other than the current operating systems that we have. So to me, that's why I always compare blockchain to simply an operating system on top of which application can be built. So another person was also wondering, like, what's the meaning of Web3? So in brief, because I want to speak not in a technical way, so that even the person who is not an IT guy can really relate to what we're talking about. Web3, or the Internet 3.0, is referring to an internet built around blockchain or on blockchain, such that when we started learning computers back in the day, you're signing up maybe to a website, you'd have to log in using your username and password. Today, you're able to log into maybe your Facebook account, you're going to some online account. You can use your Facebook account to log in. You can use your Google email to log in. You can use Apple ID to log in. So you see that it's evolving. So the future of Web3 is where you're going to have a wallet. A wallet is, for example, an extension you install on your computer. And when you log into a website, the only prompt you have is connect your wallet. So you don't have to give in your private information like username, address, phone number. All that is not required. Simply you have your wallet. That wallet contains maybe a particular type of crypto that they accept. And this is what you're going to use to interact with the services. If you're going to read an article, your wallet is connected. They'll simply deduct whatever amount is required, to pay for this article. So even the mode of advertising is going to change. I always get turned off when I see an interesting article, and when I go to read it, the first thing they ask you is accept the cookies. The second thing is sign up with your email address if you want. This is not what I want. I just want to read the article. So if I can pay a small fee to avoid all this bombardment of advertisement that I'm not even interested in, so you see that Web3 is going to bring this ability to be done. So going forward,
thank you so much.
Yeah, let me just.
Sorry for interrupting.
Sorry. Just in conclusion is that our experience as an education platform, we believe that unless people come and experience what we're talking about, we could sit here and talk forever and still they will not get the concept. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Quite insightful and quite provoking in the sense of having real practical application and understanding. Up next, we will touch on that later on again, just to close it off. But now we've got Chain Up Group, which will be taking us through the services, but as well as the contribution within the blockchain space, particularly from a fintech and a cryptocurrency exchange point of view. Thank you. Jonathan, are you with us?
Yes. Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. Welcome to Blockchain Namibia.
Yeah, thank you, HJ, for having me today. Yes. Can you hear me, HJ?
See, we can hear you. That's right.
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me today. It's my pleasure to be with you guys here for Blockchain Namibia. And also today, I would like to share more about the blockchain solution, because now we know that it's the very early age of the blockchain development. And as a blockchain solution provider, we also contribute to the blockchain development. And okay, let me share my screen first. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
That's right.
Yes, thanks. This is our company. We are the blockchain solution provider, and this is the information about us. We are a 5 years old company. We provide different kind of blockchain solution, and I will introduce this later on. And we have a very professional R&D team. We provide scalable solution and combine approval. It's very important recently, and I will also explain a little bit later. And we have 6 offices around the world: Hong Kong, Tokyo, San Francisco, Seoul, Canada, and our headquarters in Singapore. We have more than 1,000 institutional clients over 30 countries with 60 million daily users. And I would like to have a brief introduction for our solution, which is the wallet solution, the liquidity solution, NFT trading solution, and crypto trading solution. All of this can be a separate solution, or it can add up together to combine with exchange solution, because it's really correlated. We provide CeFi, we provide DeFi, and also what you guys mentioned, yes, CeFi and DeFi now they are mutually beneficial each other. Some may find that, okay, for CeFi that will be more centralized, people can rely on the last institution, and some may think that for the DeFi thing, the protocol execute everything without human error. So we are the solution provider. We are also exploring which one will be the dominant chain. But for now, we find that, okay, they may be work together. And go back to our exchange system, we provide both centralized and decentralized exchange system. And we also provide wallet solution, which can be a custodian wallet or can be a decentralized wallet. At the same time, we provide the liquidity, of course, with 24/7 technical support, reliable and stable server hosting. First of all, let me introduce our wallet solution. By wallet solution, I would like to start with the custodian service we provide. We are a solution provider with different international standards like ISO, SOC, PCI, CCL, FIP. Because we have our mechanism, the multi-level storage, hot wallet signature separation, and cold wallet multi-encryption. This makes us a reliable solution. And also we have involved different risk management mechanism by involving big data, user mathematical modeling, and also we will independent deploy each of our customer wallet. And also we have 24/7 comprehensive monitoring. And by doing so, we want to ensure the zero security incidents. Of course, we have worked with other solution provider to provide KYC and KYT. Because for custodian wallets, you want to make sure of your customer using your service, they are also follow the compliance list. Like the different exchanges, they will involve some shop to be their KYC provider, so they know their customer. And also for each transaction happen on your exchange or on your wallet, you need to know from the Chainalysis database whether they are involving some business practice. So that makes your solution more safe. And also we come for the AML, which is very important in recent business, because a lot of people, because blockchain is a new technology, some people may exploit it with some bad business practice. So with KYC and KYT, it's a very effective way to prevent the AML in the blockchain industry. And also we integrate this into our solution as well. And this the risk control is about secure our customer access part. We have different strategy. We have more than 300 risk control strategies. Here is just a few. Also, we have 30 plus security technical guarantees. This also help to help our customer to secure their assets. And besides the centralized custodian service we provide, we also provide white label a local wallet solution, which is a decentralized application. That's the customer. They are able to put different cryptocurrencies and support different chains for their wallets. So they can send, they can receive cryptocurrency for those who are unbanked. this may be their crypto bank in the wallet way. And also support some exchange, like the bank from different currency to stable coin, from stable coin to different currency. So easy to use. And also to embrace by the whole ecosystem, our wallets can be also added discover function, which different the application to the layer 2 app can be used in this blockchain wallet. So it's also to make it more comprehensive. And we also have our liquidity service for exchanges. It can be for centralized exchange. It can for decentralized exchange. For centralized exchange, we have different packages available for them. For example, we have provide a comprehensive order management system. We have the maker marketing system. Also, we have the different deployment server is available. We can make it a co-location deployment, so it gives our user the geographical flexibility when they deploy their liquidity. Because for liquidity, the time really matters that they can have an instant reaction from their server. Of course, we have our 24/7 client support in case our client got any difficulties. And for our quality-wise, we have provide more than 300 coin pairs in the mainstream currencies, and which is comparable to the first-tier crypto exchange. And we at the same time, beside crypto trading, we have NFT trading system as well. For NFT trading system, we also like the wallets. We have centralized NFT white label solution and decentralized NFT white label solution. And both of it support fast deployment process. In few days, it can be on board. At the same time, it's secure, it's proof of ownership, it support multiple chains, BNB chains, Ethereum chains, Polygon, stuff like this. And we have a very comprehensive back-end management system that enables this NFT platform to be more controllable by the owner. And yes, finally comes to our crypto exchange solution, because to make a crypto exchange solution, it has to be the combination of it all. Because for the exchange, the software is one thing, more is the custodian, the liquidity. And with good supporting the infrastructure, and then it will enable different module of trading. It can support ETF trading, it can support leverage trading, and for spot trading, future trading. At the same time, for OTC, the fiat, we have integrated different payment gateway like the Amateur Pay, Transact, MoonPay, stuff like this. So it's also is the infrastructure to connect the Web2 to Web3, make crypto more tradable. And it will be the demo. Whole thing is like you can see from here, you can see the buy crypto, the market, the spot, margin, future, the staking, earn, NFT trading, stuff like this. All of this we combine together as our white label crypto exchange solution. Yes, and also for us as a blockchain solution provider, we also enable our clients to support different system deployment methods. We support from SaaS model to privatization model. For SaaS model, which is annual subscription model, and for privatization, we just sell the front end and back end source code to our customer. And between those, we also got a premium SaaS premium to enable more flexibility from the basic SaaS model. There is the major difference for the main difference between the SaaS and privatization, as I mentioned, is the source code part. For our privatization of our customer, they can get a whole set of the source code. While the SaaS, they can get limited access to the source code. At the same time, we will base on the maturity of the exchange. We will give them the freedom of their liquidity system setting and their wallet management. And something is very important because now more and more regulation, they are more clarified with their requirement for wallets and for the liquidity. Some may require for independent hosted liquidity, independent hosted wallets. And for our solution, which we are also support our client with different regulatory needs. And to summarize my presentation, for ChainUp, the advantages to work with us is, first of all, we are very mature in this industry because we have our 5 years experience. We have served more than 600 plus crypto exchanges across 30 countries. And also we have a wallet solution, and we have our very comprehensive risk management and assessing system, and we have a liquidity pool, and we also have 20 plus member serving our client in our technical team, and we have got sufficient investment for our R&D team, and our company is going to IPO. And also our client has a very flexible deployment method from SaaS to privatization. So this something about ChainUp. And if you have more question, feel free to contact me. There's my contact here, Jonathan Chen. My email is jonathan@chainup.com. So that's all about it. I will pass this to AJ. Thank you. Hello, AJ, can you hear me?
We have an internet drop. Studio 2, take over.
Okay.
We have no audio.
I guess you. Okay, so to know, I guess you are mute. Maybe I would like to take this opportunity to answer some question I saw on the chat room. Some asking me about our wallet solution, is that decentralized or centralized? Because centralized exchange are losing holding people digital assets. And something is very important about ChainUp. We provide both centralized and decentralized wallet solution. And for our centralized wallets, which is we are a very compliant solution, which we have KYC, KYT, and we have our insurance partner 1 degree. And also something for about ChainUp is that we are a technical company, provide technical blockchain solution. We are not a trading firm, not like the exchange. We use our customer assets for other purpose. For us, we only provide a solution that keep their assets safe. At the same time, some of our customer, we are also support them with the customer hosting the private key, and that's also greatly increase the asset security for the customer side.
Okay, thank you so much. Are we there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think.
All right. Jonathan, thank you so much for that presentation. It's been mind-boggling. I mean, of recent, I was reading a report on that was released by IMF. In the next 10 to 20 years, wallet solution is going to be one of the best solutions for the people who are looking into investing in blockchain services. So I commend all people who are here. I know they are company owners. I know they are stakeholders in the blockchain space. Please find a way to link up with Jonathan. Jonathan will be able to take you through those solutions. You can also have your customized spot trading exchange. You can also have maybe a wallet. Kudos to you, Jonathan. We really love what you've presented. Thank you so much. All right, as we come back to the studios, I believe my counterpart in the studio A, they're also coming through to make sure that we are in the sync. By the way, we needed to give you also some of the services that we run in the Nile One Academy. We started with the topic of discussion, and some people couldn't understand who we are, what is our journey, where have we been, and why are we here. So Nile One, it was a concept. The ideation process was invented in 2015. 2017, we went live as a an academy. Our area of focus was on educating people, because we looked at the blockchain space. Information was very scarce, and people who were into the industry, most especially the innovators, couldn't have means to explain the innovations and the ecosystem around. So we came up with an innovation, with the training program to onboard a lot of people, because a number of them were investing in Ponzi schemes. They couldn't tell what is crypto and how do you notify. So that's where we came from, and eventually we expanded from just a training academy of all financial market services into a fully fledged group of companies with about 4 business units, and one of them is the Nile One Studios. Nile One Studios is focusing on finance and tech content around the innovation programs or innovation startups. Then eventually we onboarded Nile Finance. Nile Finance runs a lot of P2P. Those who are doing bulk, we call them bulk OTC trades. We run those services in about 5 countries, South Africa inclusive, Nigeria, East African region as well. So recently we onboarded Ghana and Ethiopia. So we call upon those who want to run OTC services and bulk P2P to come through and get an opportunity to make money. So we also onboarded another program. We call it IBICA. IBICA stands for Innovation and Business Incubation Center Africa. We onboard concepts from the ideation project, ideation program, to a level that the product can be put in the market. And there are many startups that we have in our incubation program. In case if you have a project that you want to do, we really welcome you to join the IBICA program of Nile One. So otherwise, allow me to invite Killian. I know he has, we need to consume from his cup of knowledge. He has a lot of information to share with us. As we go back to the Studio A in Namibia, AJ, we want to thank you in a very special way for putting this together, and your team. You're really doing a great work. And we ask all of you who are getting this information at free of cost, please become agents of change. What you've consumed today, share it with others. We have a lot of our brothers in and out of Africa. Some of them have gone to look for the greener pasture. like here in East Africa, we have a chunk of young people who go to Middle East for a better, greener pasture. But personally, I believe that there is no greener pasture on the other side, apart from working on yourself, because where we are heading, the world is looking at skill sets. What do you have in your head? What can you do? What can you be able to provide on the table? Our mission is to keep pace with the global trends, and we want to see a lot of people sitting home in their convenience, and then they start minting money. With this coming of the technology, blockchain, metaverse concepts, you can be anything, you can be anywhere with these social media platforms. Thank you so much. Kilian, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Daniel, I'm here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so there was a small, it was kind of a meme, I don't know if I can call it that, which demonstrates that in this world right now, if you don't have various skills, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So they say everybody admires the duck. The duck can walk, the duck can swim, and the duck can fly. So in other words, you should educate yourself and learn to have multiple skills going forward. My topic of discussion pretty much was about tokenization. Most of it I went over. Maybe I'll have some questions from the audience regarding it, but for now, I would like to have a small discussion regarding the state of crypto in Africa.
Yeah.
And
please, if you have a question,
players that are trying to
make sure that you organize it, put it together, because Kilian is going to answer most of your questions. We are going into another session of Q&A. So use your chat box to make sure that you send. We want to answer all the questions. Joe, please also be online, stay online, because people are going to have a lot of questions. Thank you. Over to you, Kilian.
All right. So some of the challenges we have so far in our space, crypto has been largely an, I would say, underground business. Those that are involved don't want to be known because they're not they're not certain how they'll be viewed by the regulators, the people around them. You know, your family would think you're involved in this kind of gambling, as you might refer to it, and so many other things. So for us to come out, we need to have our regulators, policymakers, to give some clarity on regulations, because these are holding back a lot of innovation. They are preventing investors coming to our countries to bring, you know, these innovations, because they are unsure, like, how are we going to manage? Our central bank issued a statement a while back, which was meant to protect, of course, the end user, but it was perceived by the general public as crypto is illegal, you know. But at the end of the day, when we issued a letter through the Blockchain Association of Uganda to them to clarify, they said, no, that is not what it means. We did not ban crypto. We simply cautioned the dealing between the the guys who, what do we call them? Forgive me. The processing companies, those that process transactions, to avoid dealing, let's say, banks connecting direct to exchanges, because there was no way to regulate that or even monitor. It involved things to do with money laundering, illicit activity, and so, well, there was a valid point, though the message came out differently. So with that, you realize that it makes our work as educators difficult, because if I'm going out there to educate someone about crypto and they saw in the news yesterday that crypto is illegal, they're not going to listen to me. So we've been trying to engage with regulators. They have come on board, they invite us to meeting, we talk and see how we can forge a way forward. How can we securely and safely involve people, the public, in this space without people losing their money and life savings, but still benefit from the different advantages that crypto brings. So with that, we had a meeting with the central bank, and they are going to start a sandbox where some of these applications can be tested. And therefore, as Nile One, we created a platform who can come and experience, because we tried to organize classes. Very few people can attend. Very few people can afford some of these classes, but yet you have to pay facilitators and so many other costs. So that's why we partner with various people, get some sponsorships. We offer some classes for free. We have been working on our book, which will be in production soon. It's a big book, and it covers topics to do with cryptocurrency. So we were hoping that information like this would be given out for free. If we organize sessions like this, maybe physical, somebody signs up, they get a copy for free. So the various sponsors on such events could cater for the costs of this, so that we transfer this knowledge free of charge. At the end of the day, if we are going to create applications on blockchain, and the end user is not educated on how to use these platforms, still there will be no work done, and adoption will still be very slow. So we need to kind of harmonize all these things together. We educate the people, teach them how to utilize their platforms. So we've been working closely with Binance, as most people in Uganda know, in terms of, we use Binance as a platform where we can demonstrate how to use your wallet, how to trade, how to do peer-to-peer trading. As peer-to-peer trading now is the only way someone can really transact, for example, in Uganda, because you can no longer send money using your phone through mobile money or the bank. So it is through peer-to-peer. In other words, somebody on the platform, registered on the platform and verified, offers to sell a certain amount of crypto, and you want to buy, you contact them securely, there's a process there, and you get the crypto that you want. So we offer these services to educate the people, because the more people that learn about these services, we shall grow this industry in that way. If we keep it to ourselves, it's going to stay a niche industry, and it will not go anywhere. But as people learn about it and use it, then they will understand the power. Because when you show someone how fast you can send money from across the world versus you sending money on through your bank and it takes 3 days, they will definitely take it up. Somebody has their hand up here to speak. Maybe I can give them a chance. Mr. Samsung. Yes, you are able to speak now. All right. As he gets online, I would like to touch the topic of what are the top fears and doubts that come with the adoption of blockchain. I see from the poll, it's a lack of mostly technical know-how, because like I said, the user experience at the moment is quite difficult. Some people really can't go wrap their heads around how a transaction is made, what is a wallet, what is a public address, what is a private, what are private keys, and so much more. So when we break down these technical terms into the common language that people understand, I believe we shall foster adoption in so many ways. So, and someone is saying, can you please explain the difference between BTC, Ethereum, and XRP networks, and their gas fees, and how dApps will be built? There are so many differences. Bitcoin was incepted as a platform for payments, as a payment platform to facilitate payments, day-to-day payments. However, that was not enough. Later on, we realized that blockchain can do much more than just payments. Like I said, blockchain is the operating system. So on top of the blockchain, you can build various applications. And the first application built on blockchain was Bitcoin, which is a payment platform. However, the guys of Ethereum, Vitalik, and the group realized that blockchain can do more than just facilitating payments. So we realized that they introduced what we call smart contracts, which the panel has been talking about. A smart contract is a code or a program which is deployed on the blockchain to automatically execute certain operations. For example, I would want to borrow money from somebody. On blockchain, it will be easy that I would come on a platform, a lending platform. I log in with my wallet. I have maybe Bitcoin, and I want to borrow, let's say, a stable coin, Tether. So I'll look for somebody who is offering Tether. I simply connect to that person. My security, the collateral is taken from my wallet and saved on the network, and then the money that the stable coin that I need is sent to my wallet. So in case I don't pay, it will, of course, the rules are set out in advance. So in case I don't pay, this collateral that I gave him will be liquidated, and the lender will be paid their money. So in other words, the smart contract plays the role of what we call a middleman today, a broker. So everything is automated. You don't need to trust the other party because the platform you own is going to execute everything that you're using. With XRP, those came out with also a particular focus to do with money remittance. Movement of money around the world is very difficult using the, of course, international standard of SWIFT. It is expensive, it is slow, it has a lot of bureaucracy in between there. So they envisioned what we call a network of value, where just like I can send an email to you right now or a text message through WhatsApp right now, why is it not possible to send money as fast as I can send a text message around the world? So for them, they came in with that concept, but have also evolved to have smart contracts, and recently also they upgraded their network to build what we call NFT platforms on it. So that's some of the things that I could say.
So much, Mr. Killian. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Killian, for answering those questions. I see a lot of people are sending in the messages here. Someone has said that I wish my Bank of Namibia was part of this conversation. Wow. Yeah, we believe that next time they will pick it up from AJ to make sure that we have the best of the best. Someone has also sent his appreciation. People are appreciating the services. AJ, people are appreciating you. They're thanking Nile One and everyone who has come through for this presentation. All right, we're going to have another speaker, and it's going to take maybe 2-3 minutes to wind up this session. We're going to hear from Wilco. Wilco is coming from Body Pay. Body Pay. So, Wilco, are you ready? Are you there? Can you hear me well? Hello, Wilco. Please make sure that you send in your question. Address it to whoever's shared information. We want to answer everyone's question. The same conversation is going on live on a YouTube channel. That YouTube channel is in the names of Nile One Studios. So you can go there and see what is there. It's amazing. People are reacting, they are sharing. Invite your friends to share that information. Earlier on, the banker was here with us, and he shared that as long as anyone is selling trust, or they are custodians of trust, you're probably a bank. So that's another conversation. Okay, Wilco from Buddy Pay, are you ready with us? Please, you're welcome.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Good, good, good. Welcome.
Good. Thank you so much. Okay, I was told I'm going to talk about, so first off, I want to thank Africa and the team for this this amazing event. I think it's the first of its kind in Namibia, and I think it's so great, the initiative to bring us all together, sort of bringing innovative minds, bringing the technology, bringing the future of Namibia, of the world, basically to a platform, which I think is really well done, Africa, well done team. I'm also proud to talk today, but I think it's an amazing initiative. So really great job over there. I should have been in there in person today, but I was caught up with various other things to do. So I think I'm just gonna jump right into what Buddy is about and what we do in the market. And then I think just head up into some questions, if that's okay. Yeah, I'm just opening a presentation in front of me here. So for those that don't know Buddy, we used to be branded as the Pay Buddy, and we've kind of since then, and I'm going to share a quick screen over here. Let's do this. So we were known as Pay Buddy, and this is about 5 years ago when we launched it to the market. And we were specifically focused at the time in terms of payments. And we've kind of evolved since then into what we now know as Buddy, the super app, which is a sort of a wellness platform as we refer to it today, for both consumers and merchants in the Namibian space, and obviously, or as from next year, also in the Mauritian and the South African space. And I think for a big part of what our tech stack presents and what we're about is, I would like to almost say we've been pioneering, you know, the super app space for quite some time. This is not a new term anymore in the market. So a lot of platforms and apps have launched since we've brought to life ours. And obviously the first one that I'm aware of was WeChat in Asia, and then Grab and Gojek, of which we've built a lot of our framework and a lot of our architecture from. But I think what we've done nicely is we've brought a lot of African and Namibian mentality and innovation into our app. And this is the one side of the coin. Most of our consumers would know the Buddy super app. So we've moved away from Pay Buddy and now obviously known as Buddy the super app, because I do feel that pay in itself limits what we're about. And in this app, we have activated multiple features. And it all started with the Ask Buddy feature, which is the ability to connect to a consumer and to deliver what we call a concierge service. And I think in Africa, in Namibia, this is a very important aspect, because a lot of businesses, a lot of information is not found online. And so having the ability to chat to somebody and get that information channeled back to you by somebody that knows the market is of great value. And it kind of touches onto e-commerce, m-commerce, which is what the world and what we obviously have moved into very much in the last years since obviously COVID, which has sort of catapulted us into that space. A big part of our product obviously is VAS, so value-added services, including airtime and electricity, etc. We do food deliveries, whereas we've got a special brand, Buddy Eats, in our platform. We've got a marketplace, we've got subscriptions, we've got an ability to have loyalty, so digital loyalty cards for merchants, gamification, Panic, Feed, Chat, And so we've housed our platform full of features to give what we call the consumer an everyday anything need or experience. But I think it comes down to our currency, which touches onto blockchain in a big way. Our loyalty currency, our closed loop ecosystem currency is called Smiles, and that is what everything is about. So our slogan also is Buddy adds smiles to your day, which obviously has many meanings in our platform. But the big part of it is it's our reward currency. It is the currency that you can exchange crypto into. CBI members have the ability to convert their CBIs into Smiles and then spend them back into our ecosystem. And so Smiles is really what I believe everything is about for us and where everything started and where a big part of the future is headed. Because Smiles we are currently one of the only platforms in Namibia, including the banks and any others, that actually does reward the consumer when he transacts in many different ways in our platform. So whether he buys airtime, whether he pays a business, whether he shops online and gets products delivered, he gets rewarded in Smiles. And also if he uses his Smiles to transact back at merchants, we typically take the fees that we call them merchant fees or banking fees that the merchant are accustomed to, and we actually pay those back to the consumer, so as to create a more rewarding experience for both our merchants and for our consumers, moving away from this old school way of transacting with heavy fees behind it, and rather bringing the rewarding element back to both the merchants and the consumers within our ecosystem. So this is pretty much what our super app is about. I would definitely suggest anybody that wants to have a look at how this fits together, have a look at Buddy Namibia or Buddy, the super app, in Play Store, Apple Store, and download the app. As I said, from next year, it's available in SA and in Mauritius. What I think is really exciting, though, is since we've launched our super app, we've also brought to life what we call the merchant side, which is the flip side of the coin. And I think this is where it really becomes interesting for anybody that's connected to blockchain or crypto, or that has a small business or runs any type of business environment. This little app that runs on these smart POS devices or on your mobile phone or on the latest bank terminals, where we actually do have a partnership with Bank Windhoek at the moment, allows merchants or businesses to do various things. So it's also, again, very feature rich, because we really believe this is the way that you can connect and build the transactional relationship with the merchant, is by giving him many abilities in his business space from a digital perspective. And obviously the core in Namibia, it starts with VAS, so value-added services, which is airtime, electricity, bill payments. But what we've also done quite nice in this app is we've built, and these are the VAS services. Again, they come with Smiles. So when merchants sell our VAS to consumers, the consumers get the ability to win Smiles back, to win airtime back, which they don't typically get on other platforms that are in the market, even leading platforms from South Africa. We've got a gamification module that makes this whole experience more interesting when people buy from merchants. But I think the biggest one is the integrated POS. In South Africa, people would obviously know the Yoko brand. So we've got a whole point of sale integrated into this product, a free one for any type of merchant, which allows them to run and manage their stock inventory from their business and sell through this POS. And then the awesome thing is that when the consumer pays the merchant, he can pay them with Buddy, obviously. He can pay the business with cash. He can pay them with card. So we do still support traditional payments. So a tap on glass feature where any bank card can be used to facilitate the payment on your mobile phone or on this device seamlessly for any business. But we also support crypto, and we currently have all 11 major cryptos on our gateway. That means anybody with crypto coin or currency can actually pay all of the 2,800 businesses in Namibia using their cryptocurrency, and we convert that back into rand or Namibian dollar value and settle that for that business, which they then get paid out into their bank account or e-wallet channel. And I think this is where it's again pioneering in the Namibian market, where we have had this service available already for the last year. We can see a lot of uptake in South Africa, you know, with people even buying cars these days using crypto. And I think going forward, especially in the travel and tourism space in Namibia, this will be a good opportunity for businesses to receive payments if they've got this POS device or app on their phone. And if they don't, what we do also have is in our ecosystem, which I'm going to log into now, we have a payment link that we provide to the businesses. This is our ecosystem. So every business registered into Buddy has sort of a very modern and powerful dashboard where they also have a payment link which they can extend to consumers, which allows them to be paid with crypto or traditional currencies. So a consumer can come in and facilitate a payment to this business using his cards or his traditional banking card, using his smiles if he's got loyalty, or using, you know, crypto to facilitate a payment to the business. And I think again, and all of this currently, this platform or this service is currently extended to all Namibian businesses. When we Mauritius, all Mauritian businesses, when we in SA, all SA businesses as a free service, where we obviously take, where we make our money is through the transactional fee. So whenever a business gets paid, we take a small percentage on the transaction. And this would be, I think, the biggest part of what we currently do in the market. There's many other things that offer value in the Buddy ecosystem, but I think it's important that we possibly focus on questions, if there are any, towards what Buddy has to offer, and if there's anything that people have for me. So are there any questions?
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. Somebody's asking, what network is Buddy built on?
I can see the chat. I see it here. Okay, what network? By network, what would you mean? The software, the framework?
I think they're asking if it's built on, for example, Ethereum or some kind of blockchain.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
No, so our loyalty currency is not built in any type of, or backbone by any type of blockchain framework. We've literally just built a ledger, internal ledger solution, or wallet, if you may, that manages our loyalty currency. So one of the ideas is going forward is that we do want to link our smiles to one of the cryptocurrencies. We're still evaluating which one we feel would be most valuable, as to give the full experiences to consumers and businesses. Whereas we also want to allow a business, which is also part of our evolution in the Namibian market, to actually convert the value that they have on their business wallet from consumers paying them through buying stuff online or paying their business for any type of services they may have rendered. All of this money gets accumulated to the business wallet, and then allow this business actually to seamlessly from there convert their wallet value into a cryptocurrency if they like, or invest or upgrade that. So that's one of that's part of our evolution in the next year to come. I hope that answers the question. There's a nice comment. Buddy app is an amazing app. Thank you so much. Great platform. It will be, when will it be fully usable in SA? So currently, we've actually got a massive distributor that's looking at our platform, specifically our merchant ecosystem. So much so that what we currently have on our merchant app, which I've shared just now, it's kind of outperforming what SA has in their space. And I think the only reason that is in Namibia, we always had to be very innovative. We always had to be so much more forward thinking and add so many more, so many features to make our product so attractive. Whereas in South Africa, you could focus on one element, typically just payments or just rewards or just loyalty or just POS, so point of sale. And we kind of brought everything to life under one ecosystem. And so when this giant unrolls this platform into the market, we will pretty much be available within, overnight on 140,000 merchants across South Africa. But we foresee this only to happen in the first part of next year, so from now within 6 months' time. And then it will be fully operational in SA and available in SA. And yeah, people can then look forward to buying airtime, electricity, paying businesses, and obviously getting the rewards in Smiles. So getting your Smiles cashback, which they can obviously reuse into the market. And that was also on that point, that was very important for us. I think that's a big part of, I think, the future of technology and where we're heading is enabling the market as money is spent back to be redistributed back into the economy, into the space. And if we look at travelers or tourists, Buddy already, like I said, allows a lot of the commissions that we place on transactions, specifically in the travel space where commissions are high, up to 20-30%. So when travelers book accommodation or activities or traveling into a space like Namibia, then we pay back these commissions as cashback versus giving them the discount. And then this cashback is just reused into the market to smaller vendors, to coffee shops, to street vendors across the country, which is obviously redistributing the savings that we've given to the clients into the market. So they're with helping to stimulate growth and build in the market environment. So questions about Buddy, how will one be able to claim your winnings with playing the South African Lotto? Very good question. So we've connected, so we are just a platform. We have connected with a facilitator in the lotto space called Magic Lotto. They are actually a South African merchant or provider that also is a channel to all of the South African, well, one to the South African Lotto, but also to the European lottos that we have on our platform. Any winnings up to 5,000 Rand or Namibian dollars is paid out into your Smiles wallet, which you can then only spend back into the market. You can't actually withdraw that money as a cash or cash out option. You can actually just spend it back into the merchant space, so buying airtime, electricity, or paying a business or ordering food online. Anything above 5,000 Rand or Namibian dollars is actually paid into your bank account by Magic Lotto Direct. So that was a question there. Can you buy a Smiley coin as it's listed? So currently you can only convert Smile or buy, you can actually buy Smiles on the Buddy app, on the Buddy Super app. You can also buy them currently at all of the Airtime City vending machines using cash. But on the Buddy app, you can buy it using the payment link. So you can buy it with your fiat card, so your bank card, but you can also buy it with your cryptocurrency. And then, as I said before, CBI members they can convert their CBIs into Smiles as well. And going forward, there's many other ways we want to allow people to convert their currencies into Smiles. So in South Africa, we've connected to the One voucher, the Blue voucher, the OTT voucher, which is this multi-purpose voucher. We're also in the process of allowing people to convert their One vouchers or this multi-purpose voucher into Smiles as well. And we are launching our own, on that note, we are launching our own multi-purpose voucher, Kaching, which is pretty much just a cash-based or multi-purpose voucher, which allows our cash market, which is still very dominant in Namibia, to get online more easily, more conveniently, through converting their cash into this Kaching voucher and then using this clever voucher technology to buy crypto or pay a business or buy airtime, etc., etc. So kind of also a very, very strong step for us in the Namibian evolution of bringing cash online. Is it a loyalty point or not a currency? Yes, currently it is a loyalty point. It is a closed loop currency, so it can only be used within it's a generic closed loop currency. So it can be burned and earned at any one of our merchants or 2,800 merchants in Namibia. So whenever you have smiles, you can burn them at any merchant without any problems, and you can obviously spend it for VAS like airtime, electricity, food online, etc. But you also earn this currency back in our ecosystem.
Hi, my brother.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the presentation. It's been awesome. But the application is an amazing application, and we think that where we are heading, a lot of merchants are coming on board. All right, as we summarize to go for the commercial break, I've been joined by two people here in the studios. One of them is called Mungwiko. He travels all the way from Congo to Kampala here in Nile One Studios. And I also have another lady here. We are advocating women in blockchain. So let me start with Mungwiko. What's your name? And tell us, Congo is the wealthiest country.
Yes. My name is Gloire Mungwiko. I am from Congo, DRC, Goma. I'm happy to be here, sir.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to see how crypto is taking a big place right now. And I'm very sure with crypto, with this kind of transactions, people who will take time to learn and know much about it, it means they make it.
Oh, yes. Just briefly, I know you speak a lot of French.
Yes.
You're a French-speaking country.
Oui, bien
I
sûr.
want you to address what do you think the government can do in Congo to see that the adoption of blockchain services is catered for. For example, you know, Congo is the wealthiest country, but I've seen a lot of Congolese are very poor. But to us, and to you as someone who has gone through the products of Nile One Academy, I believe you've seen a light. So what do you advise? You can say it in French so that you cater for the French.
Merci, Monsieur Daniel Molondo. Je suis très content pour la question. Vous venez de me poser la question à propos de ce que le gouvernement peut faire pour que la population puisse avoir beaucoup à propos de la crypto-monnaie. Voilà. Moi, de ma part, je peux juste conseiller et montrer les avantages de la crypto-monnaie. Parce que, comme vous le savez, nous sommes dans la technologie. C'est la technologie qui est en train de prendre une grande place pour le moment. Alors, pour le gouvernement, c'est la question de donner cette faveur aux gens. Et peut-être, comme vous le savez, ici en Afrique, beaucoup de pays ne comprennent jamais la crypto-monnaie. Many countries here in Africa, the government, they don't understand very well the cryptocurrency. So, de ma part, dans notre pays, vraiment, je lance cet appel, je lance cette demande pour que le gouvernement puisse aussi chercher et faire beaucoup il faut que le gouvernement puisse faire une grande recherche sur la crypto-monnaie. Parce que ce que nous voulons est de faire savoir à la population, aux citoyens, les avantages de la crypto-monnaie. La crypto-monnaie, de ma part, la façon dont je connais la crypto-monnaie, c'est très bien. Les transactions se font d'une manière directe. Vous pouvez transférer beaucoup d'argent, une grande somme d'argent. Vous pouvez faire beaucoup de business. Dans notre pays, il y a beaucoup de commerces qui demandent des transactions pareilles. Alors, si la population, soit les citoyens, pourraient prendre des temps et savoir beaucoup plus à propos de la crypto-monnaie. Ça sera vraiment très bien et tout le monde va vraiment s'enrichir, tout le monde va faire beaucoup de profits et vous allez voir que tout le monde sera content.
All
Voilà.
right, thank you so much,
Yes.
Mongwiko. Mr. AJ, you're going over the overseas. It's no longer now Namibia first. I mean blockchain first. You're going up to Congo. The Congolese are listening to you. All right, let me go to the lady here. We are advocating for blockchain for women, Africa's women, because we want to change the story, the narrative. The narrative has been that African women are supposed to be behind the curtain, but now that the blockchain is here, please tell us what's your name, and she's one of our administrators here at Nile One. Please, you're welcome.
Yes, nice to be here, Mr. Mlando Daniel. Yeah, I'm Best Grace, of course, the finance manager at Nile One
Yes.
Studios, Nile One Group. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. What do you advise to the young ladies who are out there? Because the African society, there's a way how they take ladies, young ladies, vis-a-vis the men. But what do you think, what can blockchain do, or what have you seen that blockchain is solving to those people? Can they really gain momentum to be on board? For example, you can advise the ladies in Namibia. What do you have to advise them?
Okay, first of all, I usually tell people what they see as something hard, it is actually not hard. You know, many people, you know, I can give an example of, let's say, Facebook. When, like, that time when Facebook started, you know, many people used to take it as something which has no use, you know. But right now, I guess everyone is, you know, is on Facebook, almost everyone, yeah, and internet as well, which people take as something for in the local language, like kwejalabya, like something which has no use. They use it just because they have nothing to do. So when many people, when they hear about blockchain, cryptocurrency, they think it is something complicated, but it is not complicated.
More so when it comes to crypto.
Yes, exactly.
I know your story, how you joined crypto in 2000, around
17, yes.
And you invested over about 200 million Uganda shillings.
Yeah.
That's close to about 100,000 US dollars.
Yeah. Yes.
And all of a sudden, the projects you invested in didn't realize.
Yeah, actually, that wasn't crypto. That wasn't real. That first time, you know.
Yes.
But from my...
Where did you gain the momentum that, no, let me keep following on this issue, because it may be somewhere, somehow it will generate revenues?
Yeah, okay. By that company, it wasn't real. It was a scam, you know. But I didn't give up, because I saw I needed to know what exactly is cryptocurrency. Because we are taught, you know, companies where someone teaches you just, you know, and you don't have any research or anything. You don't even know anything practically. You just invest some money and that's it. So I realized that I needed to make more research. I needed to know what exactly is blockchain. How does it really work? How is it anyway? What is cryptocurrency? So from my own research, that's when I started to know Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is, and all those coins that are in the market. I got to understand what coin market cap, where you check what a crypto, which is public, where it is. So actually I started earning still in that year, 2017, to earn something, yeah. So
so the rest is history.
Yeah.
You can authoritatively say that blockchain has money.
Yeah, it is really something good that one has to go and make more research about it. Even the governments.
Do you regret the 200 million shillings you invested
No,
and
actually,
you lost
no
it?
longer regret that. I no longer, it was a lesson to me. It was something to open my mind and know
AJ,
where to go.
200 million shillings is an equivalent of about 100,000 US dollars. So this lady lost that money in 2017.
Yeah.
So, but right now you have confidence, right?
Yeah, I really have confidence. So, to those people who hear about the word cryptocurrency or blockchain and they run away, I call upon those people to now read more, to make more research. Let the government not just talk about anything, but make more research.
All right, thank you so much. You've been a very nice panel for this session, and we are taking break right now. See you then. Don't go off, please. We are taking a quick break, and we are coming back from Studio A in Namibia. God bless you.
Can you?
He did it. He announced break.
We're going to take a break shortly for 20 minutes. In that, we'll come back with our follow-up discussions as well and touch on a few of the keynote speakers to touch on some of the agendas that we've had for the day. For now, we are just taking a quick break. So by the next 20 minutes, we should be back on 20 to 2. We will resume.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I saw there's something to eat.
Is it?